I'm not very emotional, but I think one of the saddest cinematic scenes, he'd always laugh at this, is when fucking Dave Chappelle is roasting Nutty Professor. That shit is the saddest shit to me, because I never like bullies, you know? I don't like being people like, who cares?
Every time he said I laugh, I'm like, that's the sad thing to you?
This motherfucker been to funerals. He sees death.
That shit is so, when you look at the look on his face and then play the music.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. We have reoccurring guests. Actually, you guys haven't been on this podcast in a hot second.
Hot second.
I don't think I've ever been on it.
I think it was me,
I think
Mike,
I'm the only one who
Emmanuel.
hasn't.
Oh, you weren't on this podcast yet?
I'm
Hey, shit,
excited.
My bad,
excited.
dude. It's all black people
Yeah,
looking alike.
you know we look alike.
Once they hit a certain complexion, they all meld together.
Reoccurring in spirit.
Yeah, recurring
Yeah,
spirit. We're all
you-
one group. We just
You
mashed
guys have
together.
so many fucking members. That's why.
Yeah.
And I only have 2 seats, so I always have to like do lottery and shit. Like, who's coming on?
It's like the parent is like, yeah, you know which one I'm talking to.
You know, in high school, I had a friend. I think she had a total of 9 siblings.
Shit.
By the time the last kid hit was like their only boy child, they didn't even name him. His name is just Boy. I'm not even fucking lying.
way. Like the
Wait,
movie.
wait. For how long?
Forever. His
His name's still Boy?
His name is Boy. I'm not even
Like
lying.
B-O-Y or B-O-I?
B-O-Y, Boy. So when they used to call him, they're like, hey, Boy, come here. I'm like, yo, call him by his
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
They're like, yo, that is his name.
Why?
Boy.
Why?
I don't know. I think they just got tired after number 8.
They said, you know what? Boy.
Let a family member name him or
Yeah,
something.
something, yeah.
Let
Boy.
another sibling name him Boy.
Yeah, I thought they were just being super disrespectful.
You know,
but
that's still disrespectful. That's very disrespectful.
just like
Give me a
it's like the
name.
Scantron says Boy. It's like
Boy.
fucking playing
You
around.
know he's not the favorite.
Yeah, you know. He
They even give me a
definitely-
name.
100% he's not the favorite. They just gave up on him. They're like,
Yeah.
you were
They
next.
don't even know where he's at right now.
No,
He's
100%.
They named him after a Big Sean ad lib.
So we. Oh, go ahead.
First thing we want to talk
Yeah.
about, all these damn peacocks.
A lot of peacocks.
bro.
Like
yeah.
it's NBC in here.
Yo.
Fucking.
I'm like,
NBC,
we
that's funny.
drive. I'm like, is that a peak? Is that real? And then it moved. I'm
And
like,
not only is it a peacock, he was standing brolic on the fence, like, "What's up?"
and then we was like, okay, one peacock. We get to the stop sign, look left, it's a peacock. He's like, there's one right there. When you go to turn, we got to stop. It's another peacock crossing the street. I'm like,
Yo, I didn't know that there was this. So when we first moved into this area, the whatever, the fucking person that rents out homes.
Yeah,
What do you call those people?
the real
realtor.
Yeah, the realtor or
Yeah,
some
yeah.
shit. Yeah, I'm an adult. Fuck you. So she came up. She was like, "Oh, there's a lot of peacocks," as if that was a selling point. And I'm like, "That's not a selling point.
Yeah, I
to me.
don't
Those
care.
big ass chickens. I don't fucking want these things here. They're everywhere.
No, they're everywhere.
Like
And-
the other day, there was literally. So this is how peacocks work. There's the male, right, and they're
Yeah.
actually called. Somebody corrected me in the neighborhood. They're like,
They're just-
they're actually not peacocks.
yeah, they're
I'm
just
like,
cocks.
what are they called? They're called like pea hens or some shit like that.
Yep.
Oh no, females are called pea hens and the males are called peacocks, but they're called pea fowl. So this is the type of old people conversations I have. Now, you saw me sitting down front of the porch.
David's going downhill, guys. He's over the hill.
Yo, my career is done, dude. We're talking about peacocks to people and their genus species. And so apparently, like, I don't know, like 60 or 70 years back, some rich asshole brought these peacocks. And with this weather in Southern California, they just started multiplying. But they're not indigenous to the area. They're like Southeast Asian birds or Indian birds.
Are they aggressive?
They are aggressive. So like they'll see, bro, they're known to see, if you like just wash your car, they'll see their reflection in the fucking of your car and they'll fuck your car up. So
that's crazy.
because if you notice, like with peacocks, they only roll with one dude and he pimps out like 7 birds. So it's always one guy, the one with the big feathers, that just pimps out like 6 or 7.
Yeah, when
girls.
the one that we looked at to the left, it was him, but then I seen like two little birds.
Yeah, those are the females.
Oh,
Yeah, and so you'll always see them
okay.
roughly around like 6 or 7 o'clock. They scream. It sounds like a 7-year-old dying, and then
They're
they'll
screaming.
They scream. I fuck. You'll probably
That's
hear
some
it.
scary shit.
They scream and they bring out the feathers and they get reception and they literally rotate like this, like a satellite, so they can get bitches. And then you'll see like 6 girls walk up to them.
So do you think the CEO of NBC lived in Arcadia?
He said, "I got to create something. I got to get the fuck up out of here." But use the peacock. But it's a big ass bird. I was like, if that's just sitting at your window, you're gonna be fucking scared.
Oh, no.
I remember my friend in Arcadia called me one day and she was like, "I don't want to get out of my car. There are 2 peacocks outside my door." I said, let me tell you something. I don't know the temperament of peacocks, so I would stay in your car too. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna be on when you get out the car.
So I signed up to the neighborhood app here, right?
Yeah.
Just so I could hear other old people. I'm fucking old.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
You're just digging the hole.
Yeah, I'm old as fuck. I was out in the neighborhood, and I wasn't supposed to laugh at this, but people put up their own personal problems and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's with like people who own homes. They kind of vent on the neighborhood app.
Yeah.
But this lady was saying, she was like, can you guys please pray for my chihuahua because they got attacked by a peacock and they probably only have a couple of days to live. Bro, I laughed so hard.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll probably because that's not something you hear every day.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's why I looked up how aggressive they are. Apparently, they're
that's
hyper
an issue for me because me and Rome do walks in the neighborhood. That's our old trade.
Yeah, I'm doing walks.
Like Saturday morning, we be walking.
Yeah.
And there's no peacock, so I would be scared to be attacked by a peacock. I'm like, all right, if he down there, it's like seeing a loose dog. I don't know what's gonna happen. Let me just go another way.
Funny story. So you know how some people they'll something that happened to them on a street or something, and they'll be like, you know what, I'm not gonna let that bother me. I'm gonna conquer that fear. I'm going back on that street. Not happening over there. We one time was walking on this one street, and this dog, I guess
it was two dogs.
It was two dogs, and this one, I guess he was the leader of the dog, and he jumped up on like the thing, and so you could see his body kind of halfway over the fence. Like if he wanted to jump off and come after us, he could, but he stood there and looked at us. We've never been back down the street again.
Can't take the chance.
That was months ago.
How often do you guys? So I started walking like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, we've been walking for a minute. Yeah,
that's therapeutic.
Shit. It's therapeutic. Yeah, like you get it. You get it.
Don't judge me. Fucking walking around. You guys still got good knees. Fuck you. Dude.
What are you talking about? Yo, I had a torn meniscus.
Me too. We twins.
That walk feels good, man. You're like, man, I'm looking at the neighborhood.
I'm telling you, me and my boy Khalif, there was a certain point where he and I were walking 8 miles a day. It's when pandemic hit.
And is Khalif the one that looked like
he's been in one of your skits.
Yeah, that looks like the knee. Took the knee.
Oh,
I'm forget his name.
Fucking Niners. What's his name?
What's his name? The quarterback.
Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
Yeah. He was in one of your sketches. Yeah. So we started walking, and we found this trail out over here in Pasadena. It's like apparently like everybody does that trail. I didn't know about this because I was living in South Pasadena at the time for like 4 years. I just never went outside my room, so I didn't know. So I didn't fucking know. So I just once I started realizing like I could explore this fucking city, we found this trail, and from where we start to end, it's like 4 miles there, 4 miles back. It's 8 miles total.
That's solid.
And we were doing that shit because we had nothing to do. And then we started realizing like literally we would be out all day. We would come back and our day was over and my feet would be throbbing. Yeah. But it was cathartic. It feels good. Like we would just
because you look up and don't even realize how far you walk.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And then they say that it's all these like healing practices to walk in and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, besides just the health part of it, but just like mentally, it's just, especially during the pandemic.
Do you feel like you guys got more like aware of yourself during pandemic? Because I think a lot of people, and I was talking about this earlier, that like pandemic kind of either made you better or it ruined you.
For sure. I felt like it was a big reset for everybody. I felt like everyone, even the earth needed it.
Yeah.
Not to speak about like the, environment, but it needed it. Like when you look outside in LA, it'll be so much smog. During pandemic, I was seeing stuff like, wait, it's a mountain there?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a mountain there because you never see it.
Eagle landed on your shoulder and shit. But thank you. And it flew away.
Which is funny. I think me and him, so we born 16 days apart. We both Aries. This is crazy. So we have this synergy.
When's your birthday?
April 17th.
Oh shit. March 30th. We all Aries.
Oh, come on. That's the
energy.
We knew it was the energy. Yeah, we get it.
So we both like mentally are, I would say, stronger than a lot of the average person. So a lot don't bother me. And stuff that do bother me, I can get over it quickly. So my whole thing with the pandemic was come out on top. Like take advantage of it. And that's why we started the Shades line, and I was reading more. And I was like, I just want to be the best version of me. So I'd start working out. We start walking more.
I think we was already in it, but I feel like it just boosted it. Like, especially after we read the book, I think we talked about on the last podcast, the 5 a.m. Club. Like, it just kind of boosted it from there. Like, we were already reading and stuff like that, but once you're in the pandemic and stuff was going on, then when I read that book, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's time to really like really lock in. And so,
Damn, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't read a book in like 10 years.
You got to read a book.
I read
baby.
one a month.
You got to read a book.
Damn, you
One a month.
fucking.
You got to read a book.
I haven't.
man.
So I used to have a problem with reading. I used to read books all the time.
Yeah.
I used to get my ass whooped because I used to read too much because
Yeah.
I wouldn't sleep.
That's why you're not reading them now.
I picked up a guitar and I found out fucking guitar gets you more pussy than a book. So like I literally started playing guitar trying to do music.
Gotcha.
But I haven't read a book in like damn near 10 years. Every time I've opened up Save the Cat, How to Write a Script, 10 years, haven't finished it.
What about audiobooks?
Oh man, fuck that shit. I listen to podcasts.
I'm about to say the man does podcast.
I feel that. But for me, it was the opposite. When I was younger, reading was a punishment. All I wanted to do was play video games. My dad like, all right, y'all been playing, read a book. So I looked at books like a punishment until I got older, and I was like, find things I like to read. Like I put intention on 2014 when we moved to the, I don't know if you ever, has he been to the old house?
I feel like he might have came out there once, but
It
I
was
don't
the
know.
two-story.
Yeah, that house. I don't want a TV in my room. I want to read as many books as I can in a year. I read about 15 books that year, and the first two was The Four Agreements, which is the book I always recommend, and
The
The Alchemist, which I read in one day. Never did that again with a book. That's how good it was. I couldn't stop. And those two books changed my life.
I think you would really enjoy The Alchemist if you haven't read it. I think that's one book you would dive into.
But I see how it's changed me, my perspective. That's why I feel like I'm more mentally strong because I always reading and always using my brain and getting new information I can implement in my life.
Damn, dude, I ain't shit. Like I literally refused. Well, sometimes when I start reading books, I get angry. I'm like, yo, don't tell me how to live my fucking life.
Angry.
Yeah, I get hella mad.
All these fucking
But
words.
I switch it up though. Like, so I'll do self-help one month and maybe business, then maybe like an adventure or something, or autobiography. So it ain't like self-help. Because you gotta, so much information. I'm trying to.
I really do feel like I kind of thought about this the other day because sometimes when we do these college shows, these kids ask me about what they should do with their life. And I'm like, yo, you don't ask me. Man. I've been getting lucky for 10 years, dude. I'm surprised I still have a living.
Like, don't ask me. I'm figuring shit out.
Yeah, you're successful. What did you do? I was like, don't follow me, kids. I don't know. God has just blessed me.
I tell.
And we just did a podcast on our Boss Talk one about going with the flow. Like the lesson I learned recently is like letting go of control and just because if I feel like the universe and everything is in my favor, why am I trying to control every outcome? That's like the aspect of fear in a way. I'm scared of what it might be if I don't control it. So that's what you were doing. You was just going with the flow and living in that space, and you've been blessed because of it. And ever since I started doing that, some blessings.
You feel like your
happening.
spiritual life helped it too, like just like helped you. Kind of like your faith helped you just continue this because it's easy to give up in what we do. You know what I'm saying?
You know what it is, man? Like I've talked about this a lot too. It's just and I've had an issue with people. Actually, one of the things that I realized in pandemic, I've already cut off a lot of people out of my circle.
Yeah.
I cut it down even more during pandemic.
Gotcha.
And one of the things that I really disliked, and it's because of what pandemic did to other people, I don't like people who aren't grateful. So if you don't have this idea of being gracious for the things that you have, I can't fuck with you. So that might have to deal with, growing up in a church. It's always about being grateful about, these small little blessings, right? When pandemic happened, a lot of people I started hearing a lot of complaints about stupid shit, right? And like, I talk about this too, where, first world problems are very real, but they're very real depending on who you say it to. Because you can't talk about your first world problems to people who are struggling.
It's a proximity thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
Yeah.
So somebody I recently had to cut off is because no matter how good this person's life is, this person complains non-stop.
That's a lot.
And, had a conversation with him and I was like, bro, I know what your life was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact that you could still complain when you have all this blows my mind. I can't hear it because it starts to affect me. Because that's the thing too, like I just never complained. And I think that's always allowed me to go with the flow because I remember when I first came to LA, I bought this desk at Walmart. I had this iMac that I put my whole savings into. I sold every fucking Jordan I had just so I could buy a camera, all this equipment, lenses and whatever. And before I came here, all my friends from Sacramento, before I left, they pulled in this money to buy me this 24-70 lens, which is what I needed to shoot skits.
That's fire.
That's
right?
great.
I remember that shit till this day. And it makes me grateful for the things that I have. So when somebody tries to bring that negative energy into my life, I just go, fuck you, because I don't need this.
No.
So when people talk about like, okay, so what are your goals in life? It's like, to be honest with you, I've kind of exceeded everything that I wanted. Now everything's in bonus. So it's about being grateful for the things I have. So that's the kind of perspective that I've always had. Every time I leveled up with something, I'm like, yo, I can't believe I get to do this.
Yeah.
When I went on set, I didn't realize how much people ask for things. I was like that dude because I was casted for this Netflix food show, and they were like, "What do you want on your rider?" I'm like, "What's a rider?" They're like, "It's like snacks and food."
Yeah.
I was like, "Just give me beef jerky and water." And then this person literally said to me, "It's like this is not a Bulgarian prison." Like, yo,
that's funny.
What my PA roasted me, bro. I was like, "Excuse me."
He said, "You too humble."
They're like, "You want snacks?" I'm like, "Nah, just give me like beef jerky and water."
That's literally how we are. A long time ago, you know what story I'm about to tell. A long time ago, we had to do this show.
No, I don't.
Oh, long time ago, we had to do this show. And they asked us, did we need anything?
Okay, now I know.
We literally was just like...
This podcast is brought to you by Skillshare, my friends. For those of you who don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community that offers membership with a whole bunch of meaning. Now, I have a lot of hobbies, a lot of side hustles, a lot of things that I'm interested in, but I don't want to scour the web looking for random people to teach me stuff that I don't even know if they're credible or in the position to teach me these things. Well, Skillshare has a bevy, a huge database of online instructors to help you get to where you want to be, no matter if it's a hobby, no matter if it's a side job, or whatever you want to learn. Skillshare just might have it for you. I mean, think about it. What do you want to learn? You want to learn After Effects? You want to learn how to organize your life? You want to learn, I don't know, gardening? Something out there. Skillshare will probably have it for you, man. And so far, everything that I've wanted to learn or I was curious about, Skillshare had a course for it. Currently, right now, the course that I'm taking has nothing to do with my hustles at all. It has everything to do with the fact that during pandemic, I needed to learn how to take care of my plants. So I'm actually doing a course called Indoor Gardening with Ekta Chaudhry. And I gotta tell you, there's so much stuff I didn't know about this, but my plants be brimming with life, son. So for all my Genius Brain listeners out there, explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/brain and get a 1-month free trial of premium membership. That's 1 month of a premium membership at Skillshare.com/brain.
We could just have some water. I mean, that's fine. We don't need pretty much. Maybe some chairs. Some water. After we did the show, kind of find out they said we were on a high horse. We just wanted water.
Y'all asked us.
That's a basic nutrition.
For water
in a chair because we was hosting a Trey Songz show at Georgia State, and he was late. And we didn't have to, we kept the crowd going. We started just performing things, and we kept the show going until he got there, which was like 2 hours late. And they said we were on our high horse. We weren't getting paid for this.
We didn't.
We was doing this for the exposure, out of love of this, you know.
It's still early.
It's still early in Dorm. This is like, 2 years after maybe.
Water is life.
That's chairs. Chairs is so we can use it in the act.
Yeah, that's what it's just,
and we're on our high horse. Look at these YouTube
bro.
fancy motherfuckers asking for fucking sustenance.
But we've always, I was just talking about this yesterday with Pat and Tahir. I was just like, why is it that us as creators, once we work and we get to a certain point, we're still afraid to like ask for certain things sometimes because we don't want to come off as, oh, they want too much. But we should be able to, after you done worked a certain amount of time, it's like, yeah, I would like this and this and this. But then the other part of you is like,
you know what it is? I bet you it's because every single one of us growing up, when we would ask for things, we get our ass whooped.
Probably. Don't ask for shit when you go in this store.
I had that. Go in the store. Don't ask for nothing. Don't touch nothing.
So we go to shows. We be like, I don't want to ask for nothing.
Give me a chance. Beat my ass. You didn't even give me a chance.
Well, I can't believe you asked for water and they're like fucking fancy, bro.
Baffled us.
That shit was crazy.
Most baffling thing.
Did you say something to him? Like, I'll fucking kill you.
I think we just let it go. We just never did anything with that particular organization again. I don't think, because we were just like, all right, well, they don't appreciate just.
And why the fuck was Trey Songz so fucking late?
Come on, man. Artists just
dick
be
is
late.
Heavy. That's why. He had to drag that thing with him.
And then he said he didn't want us to introduce him.
Yeah,
we were the host.
He told his people to come tell us not to introduce him. We were like, oh, okay. All right.
Oh, you just think because you slang an 8-pound dick, you can just do whatever you want. That was the most shocking video I've ever seen in my life.
This was around the Ready era, right? So,
yeah,
that was
so we
wasn't
ready, I guess. So it is what it is. But yeah, I feel like we should be able to celebrate your luxuries. Like when you get to a certain point, you're just like, all right, I don't want to clean no more. I'm gonna hire somebody to clean. That shouldn't be looked at as like, oh, you lazy mo. It's like, nah, I got other shit to do. It's a time thing.
It's hard because like it's not stuff that I don't think we grew up with.
Yeah,
We cleaned the household. We had to do this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's weird because now I'm learning how to prioritize time a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So recently, listen, I do this thing where I get into something really deep for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
It's because I have insomnia. I can't sleep. Like
Except books.
Fuck books, bro. Fuck books. I ain't gonna dive into this. No, but send me some books so I can read it. So
Watching 2 years, David So gonna have a book.
I'll write a book.
I want to thank Cam and Roman. They inspired me.
I didn't read a book, but I wrote one. Now read my shit.
I'm definitely reading that book.
But I had a fucking so I got super deep into cleaning cars. So
Okay.
so I'm in this house now,
Yeah.
right? We're renting this house, and I have a garage and a driveway and a hose. I haven't had a hose in damn near I don't know how long. Because apartments you got hoses.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, I'm gonna wash my fucking car. I haven't washed my own car in a hot second. I got so deep into this, I spent $400 on car cleaning shit. And then I was like, because I'm gonna save money. $400 is an investment.
I'm gonna save
right?
money. Yeah.
That took me 4 hours to clean my car.
Jeez.
The biggest waste of time.
Oh yeah.
It costs
You did it one time,
$40 to clean your car. I wash my car 2 times a year. What the fuck was I thinking? It's gonna take me damn near 7 years to get my money back.
Oh yeah, it's a wrap on that. You might as well. That's in the red.
Yeah, all those peacocks gonna be dead by the time you get money back.
You guys have a book on smart investments?
We do.
No, yeah, don't buy washing equipment that you don't need. That's funny. That's funny though. So did you washed it once? But why was it so much thing? It was like a
Because he was
wax.
waxing.
It
He must
was
have been waxing and
I mean,
detailing.
it's just all this. You guys need your car washed too? I need to make my money back. Bro,
I see David in the middle of Michael pull up like, what the fuck is David in the y'all
hey, man, I'm just washing cars, bro. I just need to make sure my money's worth this shit. It's hard work.
Yeah, no, you out there sweating. Like it's rough.
My God.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize how dirty a car is. Because,
Yeah.
other people have been washing
Yeah.
my cars.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
sometimes they take a little longer. I'm like, you
Yeah.
lazy motherfuckers.
take you
Over
so
here trying
long.
You ain't getting no goddamn tip. I'm tipping so well now.
I was
Oh,
about to
yeah,
say
yeah,
that
yeah.
make you tip better now that you see
Oh,
how
yeah.
hard
I mean,
it
I
was.
always tip well. I'm going to tip a little more now
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it is hard shit.
Yeah.
And plus, I didn't realize that when you put on wax, if you're not paying attention, you forget where you put the wax. So I'm just like, oh, what happened?
Like, oh shit,
So I'm
shit.
I have to rewipe the whole car down. I was pissed. And it actually really started because my neighbor, his name is David as well, he washes his car every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And then he saw me bring in people to wash my car. And I think he kind of lightweight judged me a little bit. So I'm like, hey, fuck you,
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
wash my car. I'll wash my car better than you.
So you felt guilty. You assumed that he assumed, and then you was like, I need to go ahead.
And I assumed right because I know that motherfucker. Because he washes his car with a regular hose. I bought a pressure washer.
Oh, you weren't playing out here.
I was like, yo, fuck you,
It'd
dog.
be funny seeing y'all compete as neighbors. He come out and see that, and he come back with something else.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
just- and both of the wives are looking at each other.
By the time they done, they got a whole car wash, like fucking store out there for people to come through.
Everybody in
bring
the neighborhood that's coming in the driveway.
I'm doing fucking neighborhood fundraisers and shit. What the fuck? Fuck you, bitch. I'm better than you.
That's funny. I feel like, but as adults, we dive into just things, especially creators. We like to just do shit. I feel like we just like to over the pandemic. I was like, you know what? I want to study how to be a sommelier for wine and shit. So I just started looking at.
You know
shit.
about wine?
A little bit.
Bro,
I took like 1 hour class, and I was like, oh yeah, I know my shit now. I don't know shit. I don't know anything.
Wine is so fucking stupid. I'll tell you. You know why? This is why I say it's stupid. I have a friend who loves wines, and I just asked him straight up. I was like, when you talk about this shit, right? You're bullshitting half the time. He goes, most people are. He goes, when you drink wine, just drink the shit that you like.
Yeah,
That's
it.
all that matters.
That's it.
You like
Yeah.
this, drink it. Because I
Yeah.
can give you like $1,000 bottle of wine.
Yeah.
You'll drink it and you'll probably hate it.
But in your mind, you'll be like, oh, I taste the notes of rosemary.
Because I started doing food and I started realizing how people are just full of shit. Like they're full of fucking shit.
Yeah.
They talk about things as if they're an expert in the realm just because they want to sound smart.
Gotcha.
And that's what people do about wine. I'm not talking about people who are wine connoisseurs and they're sommeliers or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Sommeliers, I don't even know how to say
Yeah,
sommeliers.
sommelier.
Like Gary
somebody-
Vaynerchuk.
Like they know what's up.
Yeah, yeah.
But like think about this. Sturgeon caviar, right?
Mhm.
I see Gordon Ramsay. He puts it on the back of his hand like a little bitch, and then little bitch. I don't give a fuck.
Put it on the front of your hand.
Yeah. I love Gordon Ramsay,
Yeah,
but you a little bitch for that because he puts it on the back of the hand because somebody said you have to put it on the back of your hand. The idea of this is very stupid.
Yeah.
And they do it and they eat it. And he goes, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever had in my life." This. I've had caviar.
Yeah.
It's salted water
Yeah.
eggs. I know it tastes good. It has something to it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you've ever had. Truffle, right?
Truffle,
People,
yep.
I like the way truffle tastes.
Like
They
truffle
go,
fries.
Like truffle fries. Yeah.
Truffles are fire, right? And people talk about it as if like, oh, you need to have truffle. Like it's it's worth its money. Okay, I get it. It tastes good, but it's the best thing you've ever had.
Gotcha.
Shut the fuck up. It's
Gotcha.
because there's a certain status that comes with it. You know food because you like truffle. You know food because you like caviar. The weirdest thing when people get into food or when they get into these things is like, you shouldn't let somebody dictate to you what tastes good when it comes to food. You like it, that's fine.
That's what, yeah.
Some of the best food I had was a sausage from the corner store
Oh,
in
yeah.
Atlanta.
Something small.
A
Like,
sausage sandwich, we go in there, them shits was fire.
Exactly.
$4.
And nobody could tell you otherwise that tastes good to you, right? And people love doing that. They go, oh, when people started getting into food because food culture is really big,
Yeah.
like I own food spots, right?
Mhm.
And then I ate at McDonald's, like they're like, you still eat McDonald's? Like, yeah, bitch, I still fucking eat McDonald's.
It tastes good to me.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, I eat the sausage egg McMuffin. I like that
I
shit.
know that shit.
You
tastes-
living life,
You living
David.
life. I
You
know that
living
shit tastes
fucking life. Because I
good,
remember
man.
how good that was.
So fucking mad.
And I
you
can't eat it
asshole.
anymore.
Oh, you don't eat
Nah.
meat anymore?
We pescatarian.
Nah.
8
Oh,
years.
that's
What,
right.
7 years now?
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years.
So no pork, man.
No
That shit
pork,
sound
no
like it tastes
beef.
amazing.
I know. Dude. See,
fucking
I'm not one of them
jealous.
people that be like, oh, don't eat that. No, I
No,
know it
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
tastes
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
I'm
live your
not
life,
going to
yeah.
tell you not to do it. Like,
Live
that's
your
it's your
life.
life.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to say, ill white. Nah, that
But
shit good.
Do you think it's a conversational piece though? Because I think like I remember we were talking about one day like it's cool to be the guy that knows like all the hot spots in town for restaurants. Like somebody asks you and like, oh yeah, you go to here and try this on the menu. Da da da. It kind of feels cool. So I think that's kind of the same thing like with wines and shit like that. People be like, oh yeah, I do it. Yes, it's maybe I be bullshitting, but it's a conversational piece. If it sounds
Maybe
like
if you're
it.
asked and not always volunteering.
Gotcha, okay,
You know,
yeah,
if someone asks you like, hey, you like wine? Then you spit your shit.
Yeah,
But if you
gotcha.
just come like,
And
as soon as
just
you sit
blurt
down, well, you know, wine, you know, this and that, that's when people don't fuck with
Bro,
it.
I'll fuck with people up though. I'll bullshit and they'll bullshit with me. It's like, bro, I don't know what I'm talking. You lying through your fucking
Yeah.
teeth right now. I'm like, yo, this wine right here, it comes from the area of Genovese. A little drier, a little drier on the palate than I expected. But you know what? It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I heard the summers are really good too. And they'll be like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. I don't know what
I made all that shit up.
it's $2 chuck, bitch.
You would respect it more if they said, hey, man, what the fuck you talking about?
Exactly.
The funny thing, I'm not a big drinker like that, but I recently, my homegirl brought over a wine, cheap wine, the best wine I ever had in my life. And I took a picture of
There you
it.
go.
Hold on, let me.
It'd be funny if it said cheap wine on the front. Cheap wine.
It don't even got a label.
But-
It got a Sharpie with a toilet paper.
It had this blueberry
Does
taste.
does your lady drink?
Yo, she drinks not as much.
Okay,
But
okay,
then
gotcha.
typically I've been drinking a lot because of pandemic.
No, for sure. Drinking, fucking, and drugs went up during the pandemic. All of that.
Just weed.
Everything went up. Yeah. So
Like I
get that.
drank. Yeah, because I started getting really into tequila because
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Cheap ass wine. It was blueberry flavor. It almost tastes like juice. That shit was amazing.
hey man, there's wrong with little Stella Rosa, dude.
I had to
Oh,
take,
yeah.
take a picture of it. That's
This
when
is
I
all-
know I like it.
Hey,
Hey,
you know
let me
how
get
I'm
a
not
picture of
old? This fucking photo didn't change. You see how I grabbed that shit? Let me tell you
That
something.
shit was so funny.
I thought there was some big O's.
It ain't what you would think they was gonna look like.
It's not.
Oh,
Oh, let me see.
He got them old hands always. You know, when you hand him a phone, he accidentally pressed something
my
on.
bad, son. My bad.
Them
My
old
bad.
ass.
Hey, fix the phone for me.
Yo, that is old hands, bro. That is old hands.
Your parents shit, they always knock. Like, what you be doing? You don't grab it by the screen. Them old hands.
Yeah, they.
Old ass hands.
That's the old ass head. Yo, that's the biggest sign of age right there. Motherfucker, pass the...
You think he got them old hands?
Oh,
Them shits look like melted Snickers bars. They just wipe across everything.
just ashy and just hard as fuck.
That's
Oh
funny.
my god.
You got them old hands. Like, yo, how'd you get into my iPhone notes? Yo, I showed you a picture. How you get into my fucking notes, bro? Oh, fuck, my side.
Oh my god.
And Emmanuel was so scared. He said, "Oh my bad."
Dog. Old ass hands for the win, dog.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's it, man.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't
Hey, can I just read this title real quick, dog?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just the title to this. It says that NBC's Ultimate Slip and Slide halts production after explosive diarrhea outbreak on set.
Wait.
Just want to let y'all know that.
After explosive diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea outbreak. About 100 people got shitty ass.
No, that's terrible.
This motherfucker gotta stop laughing.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Oh yeah.
I think I watched that
that
specific
clip is hilarious, though.
probably 100 times, bro.
That shit is
The
hilarious.
shit that had me dying. So if you guys don't know, I was on their podcast and fucking Emmanuel picked up the phone like it was a ham sandwich. This will touch the whole screen. Changed the whole fucking phone. He went into his nose, turned on the flashlight, and he called your mom something.
all type of shit.
Old ass hands.
Old ass
That's how
hands.
parents grab shit. Only
is.
parents and toddlers just grab shit.
I think I was dying laughing for like 2 days straight.
That shit's funny, man.
I think I didn't even pick this up, but when I was watching the clip, like it's like when Emmanuel flipped the picture, he went, oh.
That's the oldest shit you can. That's the oldest noise you can. Oh. This sounds like a kung fu movie.
That was funny, dog. He's such an old soul, man. He's always been like that too. There's always been an old soul.
Is he like the one in the group that's like, is that my phone? Well, continue.
Yeah, he's the one in the group that's like gonna come out in a robe. That's not gonna go to the party, or if he does go to the party, he's gonna leave early. He's that guy.
He says
in
he's
our
gonna
group.
Show up at the party, but then he's not at the party.
He's not at the party, and we tell him you ain't coming. What you mean I ain't coming? And then he don't come.
You're not.
Stop trying to just go to bed.
I mean, there's always that one person like that. Like I don't go out as much as I used to. Like when I first moved to LA, I was in K-Town for like 5 years straight. Gotcha. And so every fucking day we went out. I had me and my buddy Ed. So Ed won this competition for this Korean alcohol called soju. So soju, we had a year's supply of it.
Oh, I had some soju.
Dude,
listen. Finish your story. I'll tell you my soju story.
But basically, we killed that whole supply like in 3 or 4 months. It was a year's supply. Well, everybody came into our apartment like it was the place to be.
Yeah.
And we had to get rid of this alcohol because it was taking up a whole room. So we're like, just come through and just drink.
Yeah, this girl that was in town from like Germany or something one time was like, yeah, come to this spot, meet me at this Korean barbecue. I was like, well, I can't eat any barbecue, really. And it was like, well, just come hang out. So I came, and then they brought out this. She was like, you ever had soju? And I was like, no. What is that? And it was like, oh, it's like alcohol. I was like, all right, cool. And they ordered like 10 bottles. So I'm thinking like, oh, this must be like lightweight. Cool. Bro, we went through them bottles. I was smacked. I was like, what the fuck is in here? Like, I was like, oh, I don't need to. She was like, oh, yeah, I should have told you to slow down on the soju and catch it. Oh, now you think so now? It was good, though. It's good. That almost...
This podcast is brought to you by Vivino, my friends. Can I tell you right now that when Vivino approached me for this podcast sponsorship, I was hyped because I actually have been using Vivino for quite a while. Anytime I purchase wine online, I typically go to Vivino. And the reason why is because the buying experience of their wine is so easy for somebody like me who doesn't really know what they're buying. Now, I've talked about wines before and I'm not that knowledgeable about it, but you actually don't have to be if you purchase your wines through Vivino. They have a bunch of peer reviews. They also have descriptors where the wine is from. And these people who are here online reviewing these wines, they're wine fanatics. They can tell you in the language that you need to help you understand what you're tasting. And by the way, not just for purchasing wine, you can use the app to scan a bottle of wine like when you're in the grocery store just to see what other people think about the wine you're about to buy. It's freaking awesome. You could use this app for anybody from a novice wine user to somebody who's an expert. So I've really stepped up my wine game thanks to Vivino. Give them a try and I know you're going to love it. Go to vivino.com/brain and use code BRAIN at checkout to save 20% on your first order up to $200. That's vivino.com/brain, code BRAIN to save 20% on your first order of up to $200. Vivino.com/brain, code BRAIN. See site for details. Terms apply.
It's
go ahead.
My K-Town stories have to do with karaoke rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know how crazy karaoke was. And like, my Asian homegirl took me to this one spot. It blew my mind. I thought I was in a movie. That's only seen that in like Asian movies.
Yeah.
Like, every room was huge. And it was just like, and just everyone was in there dancing and singing. I was the only black person in there. But I was like, all right, let's do it. We just went in there, had a ball.
They come through, you get bottle service.
It was crazy. But the funny thing we've been trying to figure out for the past years, the only women that holler at me are Asian women. And we've been trying to figure out what is it about me that they like. And everyone say, I got big eyes. I'm like, that's so stereotypical to go to that first. But I'm like, I don't know what it is. But they're the ones that holler at me.
I can see into your soul.
Yeah, they really like him. They really like him.
And we still don't have the answer to it. First girl I met out here, Asian. I just have a bunch of Asian.
Have you dated Asian girls?
Not like it's my girlfriend, but yeah, just having fun.
What was that experience like for you? Different?
It was cool. I like people with culture.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think I can date like a white girl. Because I need culture.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day.
So, all these white
now,
girls.
like, no, but when we say dating and having sex are two different things.
Like, two different things. I'm talking about seriously dating.
Bring it home.
I'm talking about, multiplying generations.
But I just need culture. So if I can date outside my race, but it'll be Asian, it could be Indian. There's some people that just have culture. That's what I need.
What is that though? Because I feel the same way. Because I've definitely dated a couple of white girls and it just something didn't click. I think it's just because they didn't get their ass beat when they were younger or something. I feel like there's like this certain struggle that you need to go through.
I feel like there are few out there that may understand whether they were raised around a certain group of people or something. But it's like when I'm talking about white girl, I'm talking about like, Laguna Beach. Like
from the source.
From the source.
I can't do the singing. I can't do the singing talk. I can't like how the Kardashians talk. I can't. I feel like no.
I was like, well, hold on, man.
It's super unattractive.
It sounds like a door going in.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
So it's just like you just gotta have some type of culture balance, like, because I feel like it gets to a point when it's like those, especially like if you look at everything that happened last year, with George Floyd and everything, it's like when those moments happen, it's like, are you having my back because you just feel like, or do you really feel something? You know what I'm saying? It's
you went deep with it. I'm shallow with it. What we watching? Like,
Vampire Diaries.
I watch a lot of white shit, but it's just like you ain't never seen Snowfall. You ain't never seen Boys in the Hood. Like, we got to have a balance. I want to go tap into what you into, but we need a balance. Like, it's certain things you just don't know.
I mean, it's hard because you know what it is too. It's also sense of humor. That's the biggest. That's the biggest fucking difference. It's like shit that makes you laugh doesn't make them laugh.
Yeah.
Like even with my fiance, because she didn't grow up around any black people.
Yeah.
We would watch certain movies, films, or whatever, and then I'm cracking up, and she goes, "I don't get it." I'm like, "Fuck, I might have to leave you." like, what you mean?
I didn't know you didn't get this before.
Like we were watching, there's like Marlon, right? The second season. I didn't like the first season, but second season, it's just Marlon just roasting.
Yeah, just roasting people.
So I'm cracking up. I'm like, Marlon's fucking ridiculous. She goes, I don't get why this is funny. I'm like, you just fucking.
What does she find funny though? Like, what's something that
like fucking puppy videos and shit. Like she was like, you see this? I'm like, fuck you. Like, don't show me this shit. I know the ending. This puppy's gonna bark. Like, I know what's gonna happen. Don't tell me the shit.
But is there a show she like that you not into?
Oh, there's a shit ton. There's so much. You know what I meant? But what I like about her though is that she's very inquisitive and she's not afraid to ask questions. So when the Black Lives Matter thing happened, right, she didn't understand why I was so upset. Like she didn't get it. She just was like, "Oh, this is a tragedy." So why are you upset? I was like, I don't even know how to explain it. Right?
Gotcha, yeah.
Because it's not something that you really grew up with. You didn't see a lot of it.
You're supposed to look at her and say, I'm half black.
That's why. She's like, you're angry at black people.
and you should have told her, and you know where I'm black.
My credit score.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's funny. That's good.
Hilarious. But she was always like, she never understood like the funniest things that she would ask. And it's funny to me because she was like, how come black women wear silk stuff on their head before they go to sleep? I'm like, oh, this is a question that most people wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's a real question.
And the only reason why I know is I grew up in a black beauty supply store. So this is why I know. So she would just always ask these things, which is really smart. Most people don't. They would either pretend like they know or they would just judge from a distance.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah, we're so afraid to ask questions. Like I ask questions. Like I remember one of my homies, he's white, and I asked him, I said, hey bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Do white people iron? Like Like, you be wrinkled a lot, bro. Like, I'm like, what? He was like, I ain't gonna lie, though. I've never touched the iron. I was like, see, I know. I'm like, these are questions I just need to know. I'm like,
I remember the first time I spent the night at my friend Mike's house. He was white. I was in middle school. I said, I'm about to take a shower. I said, can I get a washcloth? He said, what's that? I said, what's that?
What's that?
Like, what you use to wash? He like, we just use the soap bar. So I went in there, looked at the soap. I was like, all right.
Yeah,
I saw some body washes. I'm using the body wash. And I took like, those medium towels that you use just to wipe dry things. I took one of them. That was my washcloth.
The hotel towel be about this
big. What you mean what a washcloth is?
Yo, that's
different
fucking
cultures.
There's like hygiene shit is way different. Well, for Asian people, like the shoes in the house is the biggest fucking thing.
It's great.
Like I didn't know I had to explain it to anybody, but it was like a very American thing not to, you just bring your shoes in. And then like I remember I explained it to one of my friends, like, well, why do you do that? I was like, I literally saw you step in shit before you came in here.
You walked in the grass and you stepped in the shit.
That's why we do it. Like it's annoying. Like it's hard to clean that shit. Yeah. It's like, oh, he went back and his parents started taking off their shoes because he got fucked in his head. He was like, oh my God. Like, I can't believe. So his parents just stopped wearing shoes in the house after that. But there's like very huge cultural differences.
Like my grandma used to be like, don't wear your outside pants on the bed.
Yeah.
And I used to always forget, and I would go to sit on the bed. She'd be like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And I would change because they don't want that shit on the bed. But it made sense. I'm like, oh yeah, I have been out all day. I've been sitting on benches, and I get it.
I didn't even think about that shit until my fiance.
Yeah.
Like, because when we first started dating, I was in a room and I sat my outside pants on her bed, and she was like, get the fuck off my bed. I was like, why? She goes, outside clothes. I was like, you want me to get naked outside? She was like, no, you have outside clothes. You don't put it on the bed. That's where I sleep.
Clean,
and it just blew my mind. I'm like, damn, that's smart.
You be like, oh shit, I've been dirty for a little while.
Yeah, I've been fucking sleeping in my own filth and shit. Like, what the fuck? She didn't tell me. Nobody told me this.
I watched a study where they like took certain people's bed sheets, bro, and just like ran all type of like science test on them, and just the dirt that your body just accumulates throughout the day is crazy. Not even you being dirty, but just like walking outside, just the air outside. It's like, oh fuck, like we bring all that shit. So they were talking about how often you should wash your bed sheets. They said some people don't wash their bed sheets for like a year, bro.
Nah, you can smell it, but you can smell that.
You not fucking wash your bed sheets in a year?
I'm like,
you can smell it, though.
That don't make sense.
And men just stink in general. So like I got a solid like 2.5 days, and I'm like, this is done.
Like, what's the longest you've been without taking a shower?
Me? Oh, I can't. I take a shower. I take 2 showers a day, every day.
No.
Longest I did?
Longest you did.
It's only when I went camping.
Okay.
So camping was like, what, 3-4 days?
So you said 2 showers a day.
Yeah.
What got you to starting doing that?
My mom beating my ass.
Gotcha.
That's what it was.
Trauma.
So,
we're starting to learn a pattern with you.
It was a lot of trauma.
Everything was through a fist. So every morning I would take a shower before I go to school.
Yep.
And at night I would have to take a shower before I go to sleep.
Okay, I mean that makes sense.
And there was like a few things I didn't know until I was an adult. It's like, you don't have to shampoo all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So like 4 years ago, I was like losing my hair. And I was like, yo, how am I fucking balding already? What the fuck is going on? And I just did one Google search, and it was like, most people over shampoo. And I'm like, what do you mean over shampoo? I was shampooing twice a day.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just ripping my hair out.
Shit.
And then I just stopped doing that. And then my hair grew back. So I was doing that for all the way till I was like, what, 28 or some shit?
It's funny how some trauma can make you better and some trauma could just make you worse.
Yeah.
I grew up with like, I'm so positive because I heard a lot of pessimism in around me sometimes. So I was like, I just got tired of hearing like, well, I think worse first. And like, I was like, I need to break that chain. So that's why I'm so positive today. So that trauma, and it's funny how like you're more hygienic because you got beat if you didn't. It's funny how sometimes it works.
Yeah, and even
it's
like
crazy.
Like my mom used to do the same thing, take the shower in the morning, get home, take the shower at night. And then I got so rebellious when I got older. I was like, I'm on my own now. I'm just gonna take it in the morning because ain't nobody gonna tell me what the fuck to take one at night. But then you think about it, you're like, maybe I should take one at night. Maybe I have been
probably
dirty.
More important than night ones than the morning ones.
But you know what the other factor was for me though? I couldn't be the fucking fat guy that stunk. Like I gotta be a good smelling fat guy at least.
Yeah.
Because one of the things all the homegirls says, like, you know what?
Good.
You always smell good is because I can't be the fat guy that smells.
Nah.
You want cologne recommendations? I go to fat guys.
Yeah, when
they know.
One time this dude, huge dude, walked by me in the club, bro. I almost gave him my number. I tapped him. I said, man, I don't know how to tell you this, bro, but you smell fucking good, dog. He said, oh, I appreciate that, man. That's what, I do it for compliments like
It's
that.
all I got.
If you don't know, I'm really insecure in other areas. And I was like, I'm gonna try it, but I know he's not going. I was like, so what is that?
Can't tell you.
Nah, man, I can't do that. I was like, all right, that's fair.
That's my scent.
If you a stranger, I can tell you. If you in my circle, I can't. We can't smell the same in the circle.
in the
but
circle,
if I don't know you.
Yeah. That's different.
Is it definitely a fat person thing is what I found out because I have my own cologne mix like that I mix up myself and everybody's like, oh, you smell really good.
Yeah.
Don't ask me for the recipe. I'll kill you.
I'm a chemist in there.
Yeah, we can't walk around smelling the same. Like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that my fiance loved about. She goes, you always used to smell good. Well, once we got engaged, I'm done with
you
cologne.
done with that. Yeah.
I was like,
I got you now.
I just put a little fucking axe here in my armpit.
Axe used to be that body spray be strong. You like, who was in here smelling like
a teen locker room?
Oh,
that was all
straight,
middle school.
Straight teen locker room.
100%. Yeah, but like I remember when I was bigger too, it's like smelling good was very important. And then on top of that too, it's just like you always had a talent. That's why I used to sing and play the guitar a lot.
Gotcha.
Because it was hard to talk to women. Like because everybody else was either the jock, they were super fit or whatever. I was broke and fat. I was like, this is
I gotta figure out something.
handicapped. Like I gotta do something. I gotta smell nice. I have to like walk by them and like, what do you smell like? I was like,
What's funny, I wear women's deodorant.
Oh,
I don't even
that
wear
shit
men's
works.
deodorant. They
That shit
say
works.
women sweat more, so I use what is it? Degree sheer powder. Smells like cotton
we
candy.
telling secrets right
And
now.
But
then
then
I
you have to
wear
switch it
Dove
up, though.
shower clean. Yes.
Yeah.
I switch between those two. I know when it's time. I'm like,
Yeah,
all
because
right.
after a while, you be
It
like,
don't last. I'm like, all right, it's time to switch.
you be like, all right, today I feel a little.
You know, I don't get BO.
You don't get BO.
I don't get BO.
You're not a BO person.
I don't get it. I'm like the very small percentage that doesn't get BO.
That's cool. That's
So
great.
I think the one time I might have had like some semblance of it is I was playing ball for like fucking like 10 hours. And then I had it, but it's very hard for me to get it. So I didn't know what BO was for the longest
Something
time.
about bad BO.
I was like, well, my cousin has the worst BO ever. I was like, bro, do you just swim in trash? Like, what the fuck is this?
Do you just swim?
Like, no, you smell like shit. like an actual fucking anus. Like, that's what you smell like.
Is that
Like,
he's not showering?
so, funniest story. Hey, if you watch this podcast, I don't give a fuck. These are facts. So this dude, we used to spend the night at each other's house, right? I remember I accidentally walked in on him in the shower, and I got to witness for the first time how he showers. This motherfucker just hits the water, arms down to his side, and just lets it hit his face. That's how he would shower.
No soap, no lather.
No soap, no nothing.
Oh, no.
I was like, that's why you fucking smell. So we just roasted his ass for like a whole year.
It's funny. I just seen something online. We talked about it on our podcast where they was asking. It was 3 white people, and they asked the girl. They was like, "How often do you shower?" She like, maybe once every 2 weeks." First thing I thought, like, down there must be horrendous.
That thing is.
And then they're like, "How do you shower?" She's like, "I just wash my hair and let that run down my body."
No.
I said, "So you're not getting in the crevices? You're not like that's not
them lips
cleaning." And they didn't
done.
react. The guys didn't react like that. I was like, "Nah, there's no way she can smell good. No way that you're clean."
She not coming to my house.
That's fucking Dingleberry Forest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is.
It is bad.
It got to
man.
be bad down there.
It is. It's got to be bad.
Dude, high school, there was a dude. I'm not gonna. I almost said his name.
Yeah.
But this guy, he was trying to make fun of one of our other friends because he was saying he washed his ass. And you know, like when you're younger, everything's homophobic.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, you fucking touch your ass, you gay?" Saying all, he goes, "Wait, hold on a second." Everybody paused, and we looked at him in the group. We're like, "You don't wash your ass?" He's like, "No, I'm not gay." I'm like, "Hold on a second, bro."
This podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. My friends, have you been trimming your ball sack with the same old face razor your whole life? Well, that just means, my friends, that you have pubes in your mouth, and I've guaranteed you've nicked your balls multiple times. Well, no more having a hairy nutsack in a hairy private place. You need Manscaped. It's sleek. It's amazing. Did I mention that their Lawnmower 4.0 has wireless charging? What in the technology are we talking about right now? And by the way, ladies out there, if your man doesn't like shaving, that's because he doesn't have Manscaped. You should get him a pair of Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0s. Have you noticed that your man also has nose hairs? Well, guess what? Have you heard of the Weed Whacker? I actually use this all the time. Those nose hairs, adios, sucker. So to all my Genius Brain listeners, get 20% off and free shipping with code GeniusBrain at manscaped.com. manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code GeniusBrain. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
You got dingleberries, bro? He's like, what the fuck you mean? He goes, bro, wash your fucking ass.
Yeah.
We called them dingleberries throughout all of high school, and this fool was so upset. Till this day, like randomly the other day, I was on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook for years. 4 years ago, the same dude that roasted him about the dingleberries just randomly wrote on my Facebook, hey, remember that one time we called that fool dingleberries? And it was the anniversary of it. He didn't wash his ass because he thought that shit was gay.
Yeah, that's the thing that goes around.
Wash your
like
ass.
if you do you wash your asshole? If you do, you're gay. I'm like, wait, what?
Take the rag to that.
Oh yeah, get in there.
Get in there.
Get in that thing.
I didn't know that fucking white people don't use washcloths. Is that true?
I didn't know either until I went over his house.
Listen, white viewers, please comment under here and let us know. Was that an old thing? Is it?
It's like we do now.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
So let me tell you about the whitest thing I seen. This 2 days ago.
Like a
So
couple
we're at
days
our
ago.
friend's house. It's his birthday. Funny, I loved him. But his wife starts talking. She like, we have a cat. I don't like cats.
Yeah,
And she was
cats.
like, he has his own room. We was like, everyone's
You
like,
fucking
wait,
lying.
what?
Get the fuck out of
She
here.
like, no, he has his own room. We like, what
So
you
we're
mean?
asking her questions, and she was like, "Well, how about we just go see the room?"
She
We
was
was
like, let's just go. So it's like 5 of us in a line walking. We go into the main house. We see the cat. That cat's big as shit.
biggish.
I'm not going over there.
I'm talking about.
I don't trust him.
It's look like a
I don't
big-ass
trust. I don't
cat.
trust him.
This
So,
motherfucker got a fucking black and mild in his mouth and
it's a
shit.
fucking big ass cat.
so he sees us coming in. He gets anxiety. He runs off. She like, oh, he's going to his room. So now we walk to the room. He has a full,
He has a
set
full
like this.
Yeah, this like this
With a bunch of things in there, beds and things to climb on, and then it leads to their room, the next room. I was like, this is the whitest thing
Yeah,
I've
no,
ever seen.
no,
I turned around to the people. I'm like, this is the whitest thing I've ever seen.
And they were
Yeah.
just saying this to you like it's normal shit.
Yeah,
She
no,
like,
she
why,
proud
they're
of
like,
it.
why shouldn't he have a room?
We said because he's a fucking.
Because I didn't have a room till I was 14. Like, what you talking
That's
about?
why he
Because you
doesn't
were
need
the
a
cat,
room.
a white person's cat.
Yeah. I want to be reborn as a white person's
Yeah.
cat.
That's what I
Oh,
said.
yeah.
If I was a pet, I would want to be owned by a white person.
Yeah.
They take you everywhere. They take you. They feed you gourmet meals.
It's just ridiculous. Like he had a whole room, bro, closet and everything. He got little cat suits in there. It was crazy.
wild.
My mind is fucking blown.
Oh, yeah,
right
no,
now.
it threw us
wild.
off. I was like, she's playing. No way he has a whole room. My man has a whole room.
What the
This is
fuck? There has to be some white people like, no, that's not white people shit. That bitch is fucking crazy.
I think it's white people shit.
Like so because of where I grew up, I didn't grow up around like white culture a lot.
Yeah.
Like Sacramento does have a lot of white people. It's just where I was at in Sacramento
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of white people.
Mhm.
But when I went to college is when I first was around the most whiteness of my life.
Which college?
I went to UCR, and UCR actually has like the most like cultural diversity out of all universities because it was the only university that was
Can you break down UCR?
University of California, Riverside.
Okay, we got you.
Okay.
At the time, it was so easy to get in. Like you didn't have to apply. They're like, you're in. So like,
You're like, well, I'm here.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I legit got in and I didn't know I applied. And they're like,
Gotcha.
it's like you've made it. And I'm like, that's how shitty your fucking college is.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because I had a 2.6 or 7 GPA. It was super fucking low.
Yeah.
Like I was dumb as rocks. And so they let me in there. And it was the hardest part for me was like we were talking about earlier was the sense of humor thing. I just didn't get any other jokes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like I don't know how to describe what like white American humor is, right?
Gotcha.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know, it's like hypothetical situations or some shit or,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. And I would just be the only person not laughing. And I'm like, I don't get this.
Yeah.
I just never understood it. And until in my dorm room, out of all the people, I like connected to fucking 3 black women in my fucking co-ed dorm. I just kicked it with them.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, we love David.
They
They were talking about him.
David cool, man.
love
Bro,
David.
I sat them on the fucking stoop. I started braiding their hair and shit. I had a rat tail comb. I was like,
David and their partner like, yeah, girl, so tell me what's going on with it.
hey, what you finna get into?
Your white roommate come, hey, get the fuck out of here.
This ain't for you.
What's funny, after college, I got a job at this place and it was all white. This is all white. And then I started just picking up on their humor. And a lot of their humors is references. Like they're like, yeah, Dave Malarkey and this and that. And I'm like, who the fuck is Dave Malarkey? They know all the
Yeah,
celebrity
yeah, they good
names.
with
They
it,
know
yeah.
all the gossip.
Yeah.
And working there for 2 years, I started catching up on names. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Dave.
Yeah, I know what
And
it is.
it was a fun experience to learn and like see it from a different perspective because I didn't have any issues with them. It was a lot of old people in there, but it was just a cool experience to see how their mind works and what
That's
they
like-
talk about.
Yeah, because when I started watching like a lot more like different stand-up outside of the normal people that I normally watch, like I watched people that I just didn't find funny. I had to look at it and I'm like, why is this funny? Like it's funny
There's gotta be something there.
because there's millions of people watching this shit that get this.
Yeah.
I just don't, right? So it's like, this person is funny. Why don't I get it though? You know, I just never grew up like Bo Burnham.
Oh yeah, he's wild.
Yeah.
He's
So
wild.
Bo Burnham started doing stand-up and I was like, I don't find this funny,
Gotcha.
but there's millions of people.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So there's something funny about this shit.
Yeah.
And so I didn't understand that. I started watching, Dane Cook. Like Dane Cook was doing stand-up comedy. I was like, this is not that funny to me either.
Yeah.
But he sold out Madison Square Garden. So there's something I'm missing here. There's a piece that's missing.
I think it's just about sometimes it takes time. Like I remember my ex, all she would want to watch is Seinfeld. And this one I was young. So I was like, put on Martin or something. Like, Seinfeld again. I was in there. I don't get this. I got older.
That's just amazing.
And it's
Then
funny.
I was like, yo, this is funny. But then I started watching Curb. I was like, Larry David's a comedic genius. Like I started getting it more. Sometimes it's a
adult
timing
shit.
thing.
It's like
Getting
it's
older,
adult stuff. You be like, oh, they're talking about adult. That's why I didn't understand.
Well, because
it.
I think like growing up, like 90s sitcoms was very performative, right? So
Yeah.
it's a lot of big movements, even like Def Jam comedy.
Yeah.
All the Def Jam comics at the time, super performative.
Yeah.
Big movements, jumping,
course.
humping
Yeah.
shit, falling on the floor, kicking shit.
You
doing
like,
all this-
oh, yeah.
Exactly. So that's what our expectation of what comedy was. It wasn't even so much what they were saying; it was what they were doing.
Yeah. When you get to Seinfeld, he's sitting at a diner talking, and you're like, what is this shit? I don't know. What is he talking
Yeah,
about?
dude. One of my favorite comedic actors of all time passed away. Jerry Stiller.
Yeah. Hilarious.
He was the funniest
He was
person on
good.
Seinfeld, dude.
It's good.
Hilarious. And then he went on King of Queens and he just played the same fucking character on King of
Even
Queens.
all his movies, he was funny.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
so fucking hilarious. And I didn't even know that was Ben Stiller's dad.
And like I've one of the comedians that I'm finding funny, white guy. I think I've showed them a couple times, but his name is Nate Bargatze or something like that. But the way he tells his jokes is like kind of like how I like my joke. I like kind of like that deadpan sarcastic humor sometimes. And he like, for example, he's telling this one joke about how he has this 6-year-old daughter, or she might be 6 or 7. It's his first time her going to the bus stop to take the bus. So he said, you know, me and my wife, I've been married to my wife 14 years. He was like, so we walk her down to the bus. She gets on the bus, she goes to school. He said, mind you, the school has my number and they have my wife's number. Cool, mom, dad. He's like, just so y'all understand. He said, later on that day, I get a phone call on my cell phone from the school. So I pick up and I'm like, hello. And they're like, hey, Mr. Bargatsky. He's like, yeah, what's going on? Hey, we're just calling to ask you, would you happen to know your daughter's bus number? And he said, so you have my wife's number and my number, and you chose to call me? And he's like, have you ever grown up with a father before? He said, what would make you think I have that type of information? And that shit was so funny to me because it was so relatable. I was like, that's some man shit. He was like, well, matter of fact, why don't you ask me where the school is at for all I care? 'Cause I don't know where that is. Yeah. He was like, but as getting older, I'm like, oh, I get that because men, we don't be.
That's why that old ass hands joke was so funny. Because that shit was too factual.
It's funny.
It happens all the fucking time without fail.
The closer it is to facts, you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
What I
that's
hate about
funny.
my parents, they'll call me and say, how I do this on their phone? I told you, I don't know how to use an Android. I got an iPhone. When you said I'm getting an Android, I said, don't do it.
Yeah, don't
If you're
do
going to
it.
call me and ask me things I have no idea about. Like, y'all got to have the same phone as me if you want to be calling me, asking me for advice on your phone when you thousands of miles away. At least if I'm there, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
But you can't even hold the phone right. He got to get my mom's phone to record his phone. And he be having it here. You got to hold up the phone so I can see. And I was like,
bro,
he's old hands.
Let me tell you this, dude. I'm not even lying about this. This is when I knew like how old my fucking uncle was. So we got them a computer, right? This fool's never had a computer before. He doesn't understand the concept of a computer. Bro, he didn't understand what this is. He goes, what do you mean you could take things and put it into a folder? That's a TV. And I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting pissed, right? Because of how stupid he is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you can't talk to me like this. And have me respect
being
you after this
disrespectful,
conversation.
yeah.
I don't respect you anymore after
Yeah.
this. I'm not even fucking lying. My cousins were there. I cannot make this shit up. let's say this is the mouse of the computer, right? I go, well, first of all, you have to turn on the computer. He goes, how do I turn it on? I was like, how do you think you turn it on? This is the mouse. He goes, hello?
Nah,
Bro.
nah.
He takes the mouse and he starts talking to the mouse like it was a fucking intercom.
Hello.
And I was like, excuse me?
How old is he?
Huh? At this time, he was like 65.
Nah.
Nonsense. I'm sorry.
I mean, I can give him a pass.
Nah,
65.
Hey, I don't give a fuck. I've never had somebody grab a mouse and go, hello? Like, I was like, yo, I will fuck you up right now, bro. You were fucking around with me. And he starts getting mad at me because I'm explaining to him the concept of folders, right?
Yeah.
So this is how I have to teach old ass Asian people how to use a computer. I have to write them a diagram on note paper. And I was like, hey, so what you're gonna do, number one, you go to this thing that looks like this. I have to draw the folder. You're gonna double click. Have you ever tried to teach an old person how to double click a mouse?
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Bro, 6 hours of my life,
Yeah.
I'll never get back.
Because you can't even explain double click.
Yeah. It's like faster. He goes, no. Click, click. I'm like, bro, I'm just here. Just, you know, when you get fucking my elbows up, I'm about to fucking, scrap like this.
Like, what's good,
Do you
cuz?
think because of that, you're going to make a vow to stay up to date with technology?
Oh,
I think
So
we
you
don't
don't
have a
become
choice.
that?
I can't be a
I feel
man,
like we
bro.
don't have a choice though. Like I feel like we
We need to.
that's what we in it for. Like even when we 50, we gonna be filming, doing like it's
Yeah.
gonna be. So I feel like we gonna be on it, but like
And that's why he needs a show, man. He got so many
Oh, yeah,
good
no, that
stories.
shit's
Like you
funny,
could have a show
man.
like Dave, call it
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
And
call
then
it
I
So.
will watch that because it's just so much funny
Call it
shit.
So.
It's hard. Like I'm trying to get these networks to understand because the thing about like Asian family life, they only see it in one way. It's
Yeah.
like you
Strict
don't.
parents.
They're like,
and all
oh,
the
these stories are
stereotypes.
crazy. I was like, these stories are real.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
talking about that same uncle. I witnessed that man throw a cleaver at my cousin once because he got so mad at him. I'm talking about a butcher cleaver
Yeah.
went into the wall next to his head. And then they just had dinner like it was nothing.
That's
They're
regular
like,
shit,
are you
yeah.
hungry? It's like, bro, you almost killed me.
yeah.
What are you talking? Like our family life was so fucking weird because my uncle too. I had weird stories because they worked at a flea market, and so I don't know if I ever told this story too. Well, this shit is fucking nuts. I wanted to put this in a movie, but I'll just tell it now. It doesn't matter. So my uncle used to work at a flea market with my aunt, right? So in the morning, we have to wake up at 5 or 4 a.m. to go help them out. I hated this
Oh
shit.
yeah, of course.
Because they would use all the kids in the family. They're like, hey, we need help. So I had to wake up at 4 a.m., set up the fucking tents. And if I didn't wake up in time, I'd get my ass beat. But I'd be so tired. I don't even know where the fists are coming and shit.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
pop, pop, pop. And so I would go to this fucking store. And in the morning, our neighbors were Muslim, right? They would pray in the morning. These are just facts, right? Don't judge me. I didn't do this.
Yeah.
So he's Muslim in the morning and he would pray. That's how dedicated Muslim people are to the religion. It's something very beautiful. So my uncle doesn't understand the severity of when you shouldn't make fun of people's religions,
Yeah.
right? Because he thinks that it's all fun and games.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a jackass. So this guy, and his American name is Charlie, by the way.
Gotcha.
The guy's praying. You know, it's loud. He's doing his prayers. My uncle, in the middle of his prayer at 5 a.m. when the sun's about to come, starts to go, "Shut up! It's too loud!" to the dude that's praying.
Yeah.
So the guy walks over to him and he goes, "Charlie, we're friends. If you ever disrespect me like that in my religion, I'll have to kill you." And by Charlie, I'm going to repeat this, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't say
You
this.
didn't say it.
And you have to understand that Asian immigrants only learn stuff from people around them.
Yes.
He looks at him, he goes, "Man, shut up. You're just a sad nigga." Like that. And I went, I'm 8 years old or something. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard this
Oh,
phrase before.
man,
and
that
I
is
was
wild.
like, bro, you can't say that to him. He goes, "That's what everybody else say." He's like, "He's my nigga. That's my nigga." I'm like,
Dog.
what is going on?
No,
and you know what it
that's-
was? Is because the black dudes next to him were teaching him this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
But how did the guy react?
Huh? He just went, "You're fucking dumb."
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
walked away. 'Cause
Stuff
he just-
like that, you probably. All right.
I think he treated him like he was a village idiot. He's
Yeah,
like, this
yeah.
guy's fucking crazy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because he was a little nuts, but
Yeah.
it's because the people next to him were teaching him shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is inside shit.
Yeah,
You don't go
yeah,
say
yeah.
it to other people.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I just remember sitting there just mortified, like, yo, I'm
Like,
gonna get killed today.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Like-
Today's the day I die.
Yeah, today
because
is
of my
the-
uncle.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
That's hilarious.
That's wild.
A lot of like these old Asian dudes, they
Yeah.
learn stuff from people around them, but they don't know like the cultural consequences of it because it's all inside
But that's why
jokes.
you got to make friends everywhere else so they can be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, bro,
Or that's why the younger people in the family gotta let them know, like, hey,
dude, I
can't do that.
had a church leader. This fool's name was Tiger. Because when he first came to the States, people in the office that he was working at, they're like, oh, I need a new American name. Somebody give me the name. Somebody was like, bro, call yourself Tiger. As a white person joke, he goes to the DMV that day and he changes his name to Tiger. He comes back. He goes, my name is Tiger. They're like, bro, we were kidding.
Yeah, like, calm
so
down.
His name is Tiger Lee.
That's Tiger Lee.
Until this day.
Till this day, his name is Tiger Lee.
You can't do nothing but embrace it.
Yeah,
That's all that it is.
Tiger Lee.
The immigrant Asian experience is so weird, but also my parents were really fucking weird too. Like my mom, I started realizing when I was hanging out around other people's parents, my family is just weird in general. It's like because I would tell these Asian stories like that's not Asian, bro. Like, that's just you, motherfucker. Like for example, like my mom, the way that she speaks to me is from this area in Korea called it's like cholado. Cholado is like country bumpkin shit. Like they only use slang all the time. So the way that my mom speaks to me is how like Korean gangsters talk. I didn't.
That's funny.
See, this is why it's so funny to me. Like watching that and hear his mom talk like a gangster would be the funniest shit.
Funny.
This is not even a joke.
Yeah.
Like my mom used to call me a bitch growing up all the time in Korean. I thought that was like a nickname because I didn't know what the consequences were until I went to college and I started watching Korean like gang films and it translated and it said bitch. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, have you been calling me a bitch my whole life? And she goes,
so you didn't understand
I
it.
didn't know. So it's like, I just knew it was like an insult, right? But for some reason, I never pieced the word is kezeki. Ke means dog, seki means child. So you're a bitch. So my mom would be like, you little bitch. And I just called me a bitch all day. And I'm listening to this film. I'm like, damn, he has the same name I do. Like, what the fuck is this shit? My mom used to roast my ass super bad, bro.
And it's crazy that you're in it and still didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know.
That's the wild part. Like
when I got dumped for the first time in my life, this is how fucking gangster this woman is. I was bawling in my room, crying like every young man should be. I'm crying. My mom comes into my room, like straight up like old school sitcom style, opens the door. She goes, why are you crying, son? In Korean, right? I'm like, I just got dumped. I got my heart broken. Don't tell dad. Like he's going to make fun of me. He's going to try to come and talk to me. I don't want to talk to him. She puts her hand on my shoulder. She literally says in Korean, only little girls cry in a room by themselves. Stop being a bitch. And she just walks out and closes the door. I start bawling even more. And then I hear my mom, she goes, David's crying because he just got dumped by dad. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? Like, that's
and
the
then
type
he came in the room.
He came in and he was like, I heard you crying like a little bitch.
Yeah,
I'm
heard you
like,
bitching in here again.
bro,
You're like,
man.
I could like catch a break, man.
And he's like over here trying to talk to me about like he's like, women, they come in a dime a dozen. Don't worry about it. She's not worth your time. I'm like, I don't want to hear this shit.
But that's
kid,
why
you
you're
wanna
not
hear that
sensitive now. Well, at least I don't think you are because
I'm scabbed.
Thick skin, yeah.
I got a
go
grocery
through it. Yeah, like my family, like that's jokes. Like you gotta be able to joke back. So jokes is nothing.
Yeah, if I joke with you, I like you.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. So when I first came to LA, I didn't realize that a lot of people are sensitive like that, right? Because I'm in a small group. I didn't fuck with a lot of people. So how I interact with my personal friends is how I think everybody else is going to interact.
You roast them all day.
All day. And so like this one girl, I mean, we're good friends now. She didn't talk to me for like a year. I didn't know she was sending me until her husband told me. Because we were at a party and we're drunk. She makes a fat joke at me. I'm like, oh, she wants to go. And this girl fucking flat chested.
You get excited. You're like, yeah,
bro,
let's do
I
it.
fucking roasted the shit out of her. Because she's like sensitive about her flat chest. I was like, got it. I already know. And she had a nose like Owen Wilson. So I was just roasting her ass, bro. And I was like, dude, I bet you could just fucking lay on your back and collect water on the concave titties. I was just going in on her, bro. So I just told her the village well. And so she just...
That's solid. Good joke.
In front of her husband.
In front of her. And
he
dying laughing.
Yeah.
And then she didn't talk to me for like 2 years. And I didn't know why.
You probably what happened?
I was like, we were going...
Because in your mind, you're like, oh, I'll see you next week. We'll try
again. She
again.
held on to that. You didn't find out till 2 years later.
And so I'd explained to him, I was like, but she initiated it. She made the fat joke. I was like, oh, well, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And so I thought she was about that life. And ever since then, I just never made fun of her. Yeah. So now I just let people make fun of me and I don't say anything back because I don't know, because how I take it versus how they take it is going to be different. So it's like they don't know how to laugh at themselves.
They put me and David up against each other on an MTV show. This man David hit me with a haymaker because I had like a button up on. It was buttoned up and I had shorts on. He was like, David was like, I didn't know I was gonna meet a Jamaican youth pastor. I was in there. I was like, God damn. That shit was fun. But I love that's how we show love. As like that's just what we do as comedians. Like we always just going. We're not gonna come up and say, "Hey, that's a nice shirt." We're like,
that was
First thing I said, I gotta go. Like, look at his fucking dad out here on the porch.
But that's really just telling you, "Hey, dude, you're doing a good job.
You're doing great in life."
But that shit was a porch. It was factual as fuck. Though. I chose not to have sweet tea in case I get made fun of. I was like, I'm just gonna sit on the porch and pretend like I'm not.
Like, I would love y'all as neighbors. If I was your neighbor across the street, I'll come outside. Hey, take your fat ass inside. Just to see you on the porch. That's the type of fun it is. Like, hey, we going for a walk. Let's go.
That's that's fun shit. You don't want to be like everything's so serious. Like
it's just too hard to live that way.
Yeah,
man.
it's way too hard.
If you can't make fun of your friends, then what the fuck? And it's like also too is like when they make fun of you, you're supposed to laugh too.
Yeah.
It's not you just being made fun of. You have to clap back, or even if you don't, just laugh at it, man.
Like, oh, you son
like
of a
Mike,
bitch.
he's the skinniest one in the group. We be like, shut your fat ass up. He's never been fat, but we just shut your fat ass up.
Mike's different compared to all you guys. When I see like his photos and shit, I'm like, oh, you different. You're the different one in the group.
But he's always been that. I've known him since 6th grade, so nothing shocks me what he did. A head tattoo, that's Mike. He's always he's a Libra, and he's the only child, so he's always been changing. He's always trying to do something new.
When I saw that fool put up a picture of himself in a mesh t-shirt, I was like, bro, you look like a sweet bag of onions. Like, how the fuck? I was like, you the only person I know that can rock that shit.
Bag of onions with a tattoo.
Nothing shocks me. If I'm ever shocked by something he does, I'm like, okay, something's going wrong.
Something different.
Like if I'm shocked, like nothing can shock me.
I was like, how is he the only person I know that can rock that? It looks normal on him.
The funniest thing to us right now, he's doing the 70s style. So he has these like boots and they click. And the first day he wore them, we thought it was a woman was in the house.
Like I remember I'm sitting there typing, I hear click, 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 and I'm like, dog, is there a girl in the hallway?
And then we look, and the sliding doors closed where the podcast is. He's in the living room. He's walking by. Me and Roland laughing. He looks at us. He don't know we laughing at him. He probably just think we laugh. We are dying. Then like 2 days later, I'm in my room. Rome's in his room. We hear the click again, but outside. I just started laughing. I'm thinking I'm the only one to hear it. I hear him start laughing. We bust out laughing.
That so funny.
That click just sounds so funny.
That sounds feminine. It's a real feminine click.
That's the sound you hear when your mom goes to work.
It took me back. I was laughing.
It's Sunday's church. That's what you heard. You heard the heels click.
But yeah, he's always been like that.
He's all upset.
Always
You just hear him click, 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 click. He just goes to his room.
It's just great to make fun of each other. It's fun, man. That's how you show love. Like,
his music is getting like substantially better.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And that's another thing with Mike. Mike will always, he's the most talented person I know. Like, and he'll always try something new, and he's always gonna be trash at first.
Yeah.
But he's gonna keep going and get better. Like DJing at first, trash. Now he's the best DJ I know. This music, when he first started, trash. But now he's getting way better. Even making beats are way better. So I was like, there's nothing I don't think he can't do. Now he's learning guitar. So I'm like, right now he's trash. But I know at some point he's gonna get better.
And we also don't know how long it's gonna last. So we roll with it. We like, all right, in 3 more years, he might decide to go be a monk or a painter. And we'll be like,
you know what the worst part is though? You guys have to be a part of the inception. So like when somebody just starts learning guitar and shit, all off key, not knowing shit, it's like, man, fuck, man.
Hearing that singing all day, like, all right, man, I'm trying to sleep. And he got different hours, you know. I'm an early
scary
bird.
Hours.
You don't know. Artist people have weird hours, dude.
Yeah, it's different.
Like when they get energy is when they work.
Yeah.
So it's like you never know what the fuck is going to happen.
Do you still practice?
Oh, I can't play guitar at all anymore, man. It's hard. Like I lost all the callus in my fingers, and I haven't really even sang in a while.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back on keys, but then like even just getting back to basics again, you be like, fuck, man, I'm rusty. You be like, I'm rusty as fuck, but it's just one of those things. You just got that's a daily thing. You gotta keep going with it.
I feel like every black person I know knows how to play the drums a little bit.
Just tad bit.
That's
just a rhythm thing. Just a tad
I'm
bit.
sorry to disappoint you, Dan.
No, but he's saying even if you got on there, you would at least be able to do a little tap.
Possibly, I used to beat on the table with the pins.
You'd be able to do a little tap.
A little something.
We were supposed to get you on Room Noise.
We trying to bring that show back.
That'd be fucking fun.
That show was crazy.
Me and you were talking last night. I was like, I definitely want to talk about travel because when's the last time you went out the country?
2 years ago, I was in Japan.
And then before that,
Taiwan.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, because me and him, we've been fiending to go. So maybe you can help us. Well, we kind of already know, but our choices we're trying to figure out where do we want to go. So we had Brazil up there. We had
And then where COVID wants us to go.
yeah,
That dictated a lot.
So then we had Brazil. So we had Brazil. We had DR possibly. We had Costa Rica. And then first we had just Santorini, Greece. We was like, but that's too romantic. So then our homeboy was like, well, you ever thought about Mykonos? And I was like,
He said that's the party side.
I was like, I didn't think about Mykonos.
That's what everybody says.
And I was like, oh. And so we started researching that. And we were like, all right. So then it was between kind of Costa Rica and that. Mykonos is a tad bit expensive. It's a tad bit expensive. But Costa Rica, we was like, it's kind of right there. We could always go to Costa because it's like 4.5 hour flight. So we're thinking like, if we're going to go out the country, like go out the country. Like, you know, so that's what we're aiming for now to go, because like travel is just
because Mykonos is supposed to be the party area and it's supposed to be cheaper than Greece.
Yeah, it's
So
supposed, it is Greece, but it's supposed to be cheap.
but like
The
in
one
the
that's
cheaper
islands.
area,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So like if you go to Mykonos, it's like cheaper than everywhere else. It's
Yeah.
not like the hot tourist
like
spot.
Athens and
Exactly.
you know,
So it's like people go out there to party. It's like a younger crowd.
Yeah.
This is what I heard from a couple of friends. But
yeah.
like traveling, it's when pandemic hit. So I was actually supposed to go to Vietnam for a month. And we were gonna do the whole thing, like village side, like stay with like the people type of stuff. I booked business class tickets to there because your boy a little bigger, sitting in a tiny ass.
Same with us. I can't
we
do
looking at the Mykonos
economy
ticket.
that
We like,
far.
we're not doing economy.
I
man.
can't do it that far.
You will die.
Yeah,
You
gotta
will
lay
fucking
down.
die,
Yeah,
dude.
no.
Like it's too much.
Yeah.
And plus, you want to be well rested when you get there, so you
Absolutely,
could actually
yeah.
do your shit. So when I first got there, it was like when I first got business class, I just remember I was like, I can't go back. Like this is too nice,
Seats comfy,
dude.
little pod.
Let me tell you something too. Like because I'm not used to this type of treatment, I'm trying to stay awake the whole flight because
I don't want to miss nothing.
Yeah,
I
I
paid
was like,
for this.
yo,
You
this
looking
is
around like-
expensive as fuck.
You looking around? They bring you something. Oh, more? There's more.
Yeah, like, sir, you can get food whenever you want. I'm like, whenever I want. I was like, give me 17 bottles of wine right now. Give it to me now. It's like, oh, we'll give you as much drinks as you want.
Yeah.
But when you're elevated too, like you get drunk way faster. So
Oh, yeah.
I was all upset. I'm like, I fucking 3 glasses of wine. I'm done.
Oh yeah,
I'm all
Louis up
pissed.
there.
Yeah, it's nice though. Like,
Yeah.
but traveling is like one of those things that I feel like everybody should do.
You got to.
And
like, and not
your
just like
perspective,
I'm
yeah.
talking about like go somewhere where you just wouldn't think you ever gonna be at. Like
it's scary for people.
It is. No, it
And it's
is.
scary for me every time.
It is.
I'm scared every fucking time.
Yeah.
I don't know the language. I don't know the
You don't know
people, I
what's
the
gonna
food.
happen.
But the thing about it is like, I think we always look for comfort, right?
Yeah.
But discomfort is also important for growth.
Yeah.
So when you're in an area too, and it also helps me kind of put myself into perspective what my parents went through when they first came to this country.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
couldn't speak the language at all.
That's crazy.
Blows my fucking mind
Yeah,
that they
that
made a
shit's
living off
wild.
of this shit. I could never do that. I already know. I'm staying where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking Mykonos and living there. Fuck that shit, dude. Can't eat falafel every day. I don't know what their life is like. But like when I first started traveling, because I have fucking crazy anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But I always deal with it by putting myself in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Even if it makes me feel bad, I have
Gotta
to
do
do it because there's like a weakness that I see in myself that I just want it gone. I don't
Yeah.
want it there. It bothers me.
Mhm.
Like even when I first started doing something like kickboxing, right?
Yeah.
In my mind, bro, I thought I was nice. I was like telling
Yeah.
myself like, yo, bro, you
I used
good.
to see it every day on IG. You
Yeah.
be getting it. Oh, yeah.
And then I saw my first video. I was like, yo, somebody slowed my video down, bro. This dude's slow as fuck. you know?
Slowed my
But that
video
was a good
down.
perspective.
Yeah,
And every
yeah.
day when I went there, I felt like I was going to throw up.
Yeah.
The first month I tore my rotator cuff. I went back. I just started using a jab instead.
Yeah.
And then I tore my meniscus and I just kept going and going and going. I was like, yo, I think I was
I think I would have stopped because that surgery and rehab ain't fun.
Yeah, it's not fun, yeah.
Dude, I mean, recently I've been able to bend my knee back just
Yeah.
because of rehab. But there's like, that's what travel does to me
Yep.
too. It makes me uncomfortable. And it helps me like to see how other people live their life. Because
Yeah.
we as Americans, we're so good at telling people how they should live their lives.
Oh yeah.
Because we think that what we do is right all the fucking time. And the other people in other countries, I realize they look at us like, who the fuck do you think you
oh
are?
yeah.
you know? Like, you know,
Entitled city over here.
exactly. So when I see how other people behave and how they act, I'm like, you know, the world is so fucking big.
It's just some beautiful places.
Gotta
out there.
see it.
It's
I
some
can't just
fucking
stay
beautiful-
here forever. I gotta see it all.
I
Like,
even just, that's why I don't have a lot of time to travel as much as I used to, but I always go to Hawaii because it's a state, but it's not really a state.
It's an island
different.
too, yeah.
You know, it's like it's a state, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, Hawaii is its own culture. It's something
Yeah.
completely different.
Mhm.
And that's the place too where there's not a lot of white people, and it's a state. It's a weird thing, right? So like when a lot of these Asian attacks were happening out in Hawaii, they're like, we don't know what the fuck that's like. Everybody's Asian out here. We have a holiday where we just beat up white people for fun.
I wish you would come out here and try to.
I don't know what that's like.
So in Hawaii, the first couple of times that I went there, there was a group of college football students from like Idaho or Iowa, one of the really just the white states, and they were coming around and they were jumping out. And it was at this area called Hanauma Bay. Hanauma Bay is a tourist spot, but there's some locals that still go there. They were like trying to do pranks on like some of these like older Asian ladies or whatnot that were there. Bro, that shit was a wrap real fast. Bunch of big ass Hawaiian dudes walked up and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Literally, this dude choked this guy, and Hanauma Bay is like a cliff. Right. And then this fool choked him and put him to the edge. He goes, I will literally toss you off this thing. I was like, oh my God, this place is the promised land.
Oh, yes. I made it.
This is amazing. And this dude was like, whoa, it was just a joke, as they always say. And then, but these dudes were not fucking having it. And it was just like 7 big ass Hawaiian dudes. Like, I will fuck. And these guys are all football dudes. And they will fuck all you.
But I'm afraid of like going to a place. Like, I don't get why people go to foreign country or places they've never been and just start doing shit. No, I don't. They don't watch entitlement. They don't watch Locked Up Abroad. I do. I'm not fucking with that. I'm not going to another country acting crazy. No. When I get there, I'm asking, hey, what should I do? What can you tell me where I don't need to go? I don't need to be locked up abroad. I can't speak the language. They gonna fuck me up.
Ain't nothing worse than it's bad enough being in prison. But being in a prison, you don't speak the language. You don't know who plotting on you. You don't know nothing.
You just gonna get fucked. You just know you fucking sweet meat.
What's going on in there?
I'll never forget one episode Locked Up Abroad. It was in, I think, Baghdad or something. And they hated America. No. This was like in the height of it. So this American dude come in there and they tell him it's gonna be bad. They keep telling him on ride, it's gonna be bad for you in there. So he gets there, they're walking him in. He starts ripping off the sleeves of his shirt, wrapping it around his hands, cracking his neck, because he got to fight. They say, you're going to have to fight your way to your cell. His cell is upstairs.
I'm talking about the dudes is
all of them are just out, just waiting for him. He said the only thing that saved them is that these men aren't really that big. These are just regular, like,
they're malnourished and shit.
So he's just in there. As soon as he come in, he just punching.
I think he was a fighter too.
He was a fighter too. He just punching his way. He's getting hit too, but he just keeps moving, punching whoever's in the way. Like he fights all the way through downstairs, upstairs, gets to his cells and closes it.
And they say they left him alone.
And no, not yet. Oh. So then his whole time there, no, they didn't like him. He's American. They don't fuck with him, so they ain't not liking him. But it was one person that no one fucked with. It was this CO, this correctional officer. Like, he made life hell for everyone, especially the American dude. But one day, the American dude, I think, beat him up or something and got him kicked out of the jail. They celebrated him after that. Never had an issue again. They loved him for getting that CEO out of that prison. Like, they treated him like a king after that.
What?
That shit was wild.
That shit, I remember that. Like, when you see how many people, my man had to fight all the way up the stairs.
Up the stairs.
Like John Wick shit.
Yeah, like
yes. And he's getting hit, but he's just punching back. He said if they were bigger and stronger, he wouldn't have made it.
He'd have been dead.
That's the only thing that helped him, that they were much smaller and weaker.
That shit is I was like, I ain't got time to be locked up abroad. I
can't do prison.
I can't do it. Like, I'm not doing it. No.
It's funny. I only saw one episode. It was like they were in South America, and I just couldn't watch the show anymore. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Some jails, the prisoners run it. Like, they be having weapons in there.
It was the one in South America. The prisoners were running the whole thing, and the guards are just on the outside. They're like, this is just a city. And you have to live here now in this shit city.
That is
so
scary.
That dude had to, first thing he had to do for a whole month was just clean up shit and piss all day.
And you got to do it. If you don't,
they'll stab you up. They had shanks. They had like their own weapons. And it was like, nobody was going to take it away from them because prison was just, you live in this shit city.
Yeah.
I can't believe that fool went through a fucking prison in Baghdad and got mopped up by 8,000 people.
But he held it down. He didn't fall. He fought his way all the way to his cell.
I had a buddy of mine who went to if I introduce you to this dude, you would never think he went to prison. The guy's the nicest dude. You love him. He's actually one of my business partners. But he went to prison and he was talking about during
They usually make the best business partners.
He doesn't take no for an answer. That's for sure. So this dude told me that he went to prison for about a year. I think it was for like jacking homes or some shit like that, right? the first thing that you have to do, he says, you have to align yourself with a crew, and it's always by race. So you see the Asian people, you got to go with the Asian people. But he goes, either way, you're still not safe because you're their bitch. So what they were doing for the whole time, I think he was in there for a year or less. I forgot how long it was, but basically they use him for cockfighting. So it's like this dude is gonna have to fight some other new dude that's in the prison
Every time a new person
for their
comes.
entertainment.
Oh,
For a year.
Before he had to do that.
Shit,
and so
man.
his first fight before he came up, I think it was like, I don't know how he avoided it, but he had one fight that was coming up and they would make him do push-ups every day. They would train him to fight so they could fuck this other person that's coming in. Literally the day before that he has to fight the other inmate, he gets let out.
So he never had to
He
fight.
never had to do it.
Oh man.
Yo.
He said it was fucking rough because like
yeah.
you had to be somebody that you're not just to survive. Can't do that, dude.
And,
Nah,
and that's my
nah.
thing. I always said, if I did just adapt that life, I'm gonna be a criminal. I'm taking all the self-defense classes. I'm learning
Yeah.
how to fight,
Yeah,
box,
because
kickboxing, everything. Because if I know at some point I may end up in here and I want to be able to defend
Oh, yeah,
myself,
you
I
wanna
want
be
to
ready.
fight once and never have to fight again.
Yeah.
Just
You
let
make
them
a
know.
statement.
I'm trying to break arms like Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Trying to break shit.
You're like, oh my god.
And then scream, is there anyone else? And you're not locked in here
like
with me.
Troy.
Yeah, that'd be so funny. Like prisons are so different now. They're like, what's wrong with this guy?
He didn't
Like,
have
yo,
to do all
chill,
that. Yeah.
bro. You got 30 years in here. Relax.
There was
Relax.
another show I watched where this guy, he was falsely accused of murder and then let out of prison. Now he goes to different prisons and just like showcases it. He went to one prison, I forgot where, some cold climate. This was the best prison I've ever seen in my life. They had a grocery store.
Yeah, the grocery store.
And they had their money on cards.
Yeah.
Was this
Like-
in Sweden?
It might have been.
I
It might have
believe
been.
so.
It might
They
have
they
been.
sat in like communal couches with the guards. The guards would be sitting like we sitting talking to the prisoners. They're cooking. I'm like, this is the best. If
Yeah.
I gotta go, send me there.
Yeah, send me over there.
They got a grocery store. No one steals.
I'll kill somebody right now. If that's my life,
Send me there.
I'll murder somebody right now.
Send me there. That's where I want to go.
Because Sweden's prison reformation is about reformation.
Yeah.
And so a buddy of mine, he's Chinese Swedish, and he was telling me about the prisons, and he showed me like a picture of what a prison cell looks like. It looks like an IKEA.
Yeah. It's-
Like I'm not even making a joke. Like,
Yeah,
it's like bed, TV, desk, computer, and
Chill.
and then when you come out, the government. Well, it's a socialist country, so when you come out, you just go to the government. They give you a job the next day.
yeah, that's
So they're about reformation.
if I'm gonna do a
And
crime,
some of these
I'm gonna
people
do
were
a crime
so
in Sweden.
violent. You wouldn't even think they were so nice. Like, what you in for? Murder. There's people in here these heinous crimes, but they just seem so nice.
It's like if you're gonna do some crime, just go to Sweden.
I'm talking about
first.
lady CO sitting with the guys. Yeah, talking. I'm like,
That
what?
shit
This
is
is
crazy. Yeah,
wild.
that shit is fucking wild.
Yeah, our prison systems. Well, my fucking my uncle was a teacher at Folsom Prison. It's one of the hardest fucking prisons you'll ever see. This I got stories for days about this guy too. He the way. I remember this fool said some of the most racist shit I've ever heard in my life, but he doesn't even know it's racist because he's in a prison all day.
Yeah.
So my cousin was a b-boy, and he had this other dude that was a b-boy. I think he was like Colombian and black or some shit, right? And he goes, no, he wasn't black. He was like Colombian. He was like some kind of South American country, right? And he just looks at this fool. He looks at him. He goes, "So you my son's friend?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "So what are you?" He goes, "Like I'm Colombian." He goes, "It's a lot of you in prison." He just walks out the room.
It's a lot
I'm
of you in prison.
Yo, Unc, what the fuck was that?
A lot of you.
Why would you say that, bro?
Like, come on, man.
Like,
Read the room, bro.
I was the friend. Like,
Yo,
yeah, he's right. dude.
Funniest image, dude. This was eating a bowl of ice cream. He just stops eating. He goes, it's like, yo, why'd your uncle say that to me? I'm like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be in that environment around that energy, to be honest. Like, I like to help people, but if I had to, yeah, but I wouldn't choose, okay, this is my job. I want to,
yeah.
because that's a lot of energy to bring home and just be in there.
That's a lot.
Like,
I
nah.
can't even be around negative people. Like,
yeah, so
Exactly.
definitely can't do that. Like,
that's
nah.
good. And do you feel like as you've gotten older, you become more like straightforward with how you feel and say things to people?
Yeah.
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 You want
Yeah.
to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
like-
want to beat around the bush. I
Like,
want to
hey,
let you know.
You just tell somebody, hey, I don't really fuck with that.
But the funny thing, if I have to get that honest, I'm probably not going to really fuck with you.
yeah,
That means your energy's
yeah.
off already. If I
Yeah.
got to be that honest, got to
Well,
get
man, unless it's your close friend, they
Yeah.
going through something, you're like, all right, look, you fucking up, man. Like, you know, but
Yeah.
somebody that you don't really know like that.
Dude, even my friends, when they talk about their problems to me now, I'm like, I ain't got time for this, bro. You old. Figure that shit out.
Get it together.
Yeah, get it together.
One of the
Fucking-
best things that he taught me, you've heard from
Oh,
the thing
yeah.
about when
Well,
people do call you.
Well, my homeboys say when somebody called you, said now, because you know people call you and they just start venting and you be like, oh, they don't ask you if you even doing anything. He said, when they want to talk, you say, do you need my head, my ears, or my heart? And I was like, damn, that's really good. Because if you need my head, I can give you just my opinion. If you need my ears, I just listen. If you need my heart, I'm gonna give you compassion, empathy, where you may be. And I was like,
so it takes the stress off you, because sometimes someone's venting, you're like, okay, what do they want? Do you want advice? But if you ask that above, they like, I just need your ear. Oh, I just got to sit here and listen. I can play video games maybe. Just have the phone on.
I was like, oh, shit, that makes sense.
If you need my heart, then okay, let me really pay attention. Let me give you my undivided. If you just need my head, let me give you some advice.
Yeah.
I started realizing there's like people who kind of like, these are the people that I started cutting out. And it's like people who use you as like their emotional tampon.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, you know what? I'm just going to dump all my shit on you just because you're available. Yeah. It's like, bro, but I think all relationships are give and take. Friendships are developed over time because you guys lift each other up. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm always dragging you up. Like, and eventually, like, you just start drowning me. Yeah. And that's what I started realizing with certain friends. It's like, oh, I'm just here to help you. But when I need help, you're not available because you actually don't have the resources to help me at all. So now it just feels like I'm a parent, And that started becoming super exhausting. Yeah. And I started to realize those people too are also the ones that are they just aren't grateful for anything that they have in their life. Because there's like real complaints, but there's also solutions. I'm not here to give people solutions anymore. I don't do that shit. The reason why is because I feel like if you're a smart enough person, you can figure it out. You just need somebody to listen to.
But that's why you ask people questions. You don't tell them. You say, well, why are you doing it? Or how are you doing it? And then people usually they'll start to tick after that. They'll be like, oh, well, I just figured it out. Well, duh. You already had it, but I'm just helping.
Just needed someone to bring it out.
I used to be terrible at this shit. I have a buddy of mine who does a podcast with me every now and then. He was telling me, it's like, because I remember when I was trying to tell you about my girlfriend problems, right? Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, she was an asshole, but you went straight to the fuck that bitch and leave her. I was like, dog.
But that's the advice we give as young dudes. We like, hey, fuck her, man.
He's like, you were right, but I just want somebody to listen to me. I was like, she was an asshole. I was like, I was like, that's how I was. Like, and I'm trying to find that really good balance of not being that person. Mm-hmm. It's hard though, because that's how you see how my mom talked to me. That's how I speak.
You're like,
all the fucking time. Like when I don't like one of my friends just witnessed for the first time, because usually we keep our circle small, but we met somebody new I didn't like and we were hanging out. I looked at this person and I was like, I don't like you. Like, just
that's funny.
And then like they got really quiet.
They probably thought you were joking and she's like, oh, it's David.
Until I just looked without blinking. And he was like, oh shit, you really are like that. I was like, yeah, you're being really obnoxious. Like, you need to tone it down. Like, read the fucking room. And then the person stopped talking because I just didn't want to deal with it.
After that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I just didn't want to deal with it because it's like, I got to be here for the next 3 hours. You're going to keep saying inappropriate shit. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, some people are too much. Some people are like,
yeah. That person probably could have beat my ass, but he didn't call my bluff though, bitch. That's what I thought.
My uncle works at the prison.
Can I use the bathroom?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't want
to. We about to wrap up anyways. Go ahead, hit the bathroom. Funny. Hey, but fuck Rome though, right? Bitch ass motherfucker.
So how did he respond after that though? Like
they were just kind of like
just leave.
No, he stood there and just watched, right? Because everybody wanted to say it, but I had to say it because nobody would. Because he was just trying to be so funny to the point where it was obnoxious. He was saying like some inappropriate shit to the girls in the group too. Yeah, he's like trying to be like that type of funny. And it just got to the point where I was like, I'm too old for this. I got to let you know this because you're being fucking annoying and nobody wants to deal with this. We're all in our 30s here. Fuck you.
Did he apologize afterwards?
Oh, no. He was just too embarrassed. He wasn't going to apologize because he didn't feel like he did anything wrong. But it's just like when somebody's staring at you, like literally just looking into your soul, either two things were going to happen. He was going to buck back at me, fight me, or he's going to shut the fuck up.
And I'm assuming he never came out with y'all again after that.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
He got in the car, man, fuck that guy.
No, but that's what happened. Everybody was, our friend brought that dude in, and then he was complaining to him after. He's like, yo, you fucking boy's so disrespectful and shit, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, oh, he thinks he's like some hot shit. It's like, nah, bro. He's like, that's how David is, though. It's like, you were annoying people. We just don't say anything. Yeah. It's like, you were kind of making inappropriate jokes to the women in the group. He didn't like it, so he said something. He's like, you're not going to get away when you talk to David like that.
Did the dislikes on your videos go up after that? He went back, what is this fucking guy?
He opened up 7 accounts.
He's like, what the fuck? I got so many dislikes.
Fuck David. His account's called Fuck David. Yeah, that's
It feels good though. It's like now, like, I mean, I've been like this for a good chunk of my life, but now I really don't care if you're insignificant to me, I don't care what your opinion about me is anymore.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. Like in my mind, you did something wrong, and people were uncomfortable. You didn't read the fucking room. People were trying to tell you, so somebody had to say something. And I just, the problem is too is like a lot of people have small town vibes about stuff like this. Small town stuff is like everybody knows everybody, so they don't say shit. They just kind of let people do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I don't really have that. So every time I like sometimes go back home and I'm hanging out with certain friends, there's people in the group that everybody dislikes, but they always invite them.
They got to be like, stop doing that.
Yeah, but then I'm always the asshole because I got to tell this dude to shut the fuck up every time.
Yeah, because nobody else
will. Or it's going to be the most awkward time for the next 6 hours. It's like,
we're not doing that.
We have to do this. Like, you didn't have to invite this motherfucker here. You don't even like him. Why you keep doing it? But it's because they don't, for some reason, they feel like they need everybody's approval still. It's like, well, if he walks away and he hates us, I'm going to feel bad. It's like, who cares, man?
They'll be all right.
Like, he'll live. He'll survive.
Yeah,
he'll be fucking fine. We had a holiday party not too long ago. We were doing this Zoom call shit. This motherfucker, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Some people feel a certain way. I'm not sure if you guys ever felt this, where because you guys accrued a certain amount of success, they feel that they're either owed some of your success or they fucking hate you for being successful. And it comes out in the most sideways shit ever. And I just can't stand that stuff because I'm always congratulating all my friends, no matter what their successes are, because it's amazing to see.
Yeah.
So we're all chilling and shit. And this dude literally comes up out of nowhere. He goes like, oh, so when you gonna cut me a check for stealing all my jokes? This is like high school friend, right? And I'm like, when have you ever been funny? And then everybody's like dead quiet. I was like, no, seriously.
He's like, yeah,
oh, he goes like, oh, like that. He's like, you just gonna not give us credit for anything like that? I was like, do you still work at a Sephora selling women's makeup?
What credit do you deserve?
I was like, the fuck are you talking about, bro? You still working at the same part-time? And I just kept roasting him over. I was like, you look like you fucking warm your hands over a burning garbage can. Fuck out of here, bro. And they just went
very specific.
Well, if you saw the way he looked, I'll show you a picture. He kind of looks like Will Smith's dad that left him. Like, what's that fucking?
That's one of the best episodes.
So you know exactly what that looks like.
I don't need him.
Why you don't want me? Why you don't want me?
If you didn't cry watching that, you soulless as fuck.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
That episode, man.
It was a great episode.
But you know, what's funny to me, I'm not very emotional. But I think one of the saddest cinematic scenes, he always laughs at this, is when fucking Dave Chappelle is roasting Nutty Professor. That shit is the saddest shit to me because I never like bullies. I don't like being people like who care.
Every time he said I laugh, I'm like, that's the sad thing to you.
This motherfucker been to funerals. He sees death.
That shit is so. When you look at the look on his face and they play the music, I feel so bad.
I guess because I was fat, it didn't bother me.
Yeah, and then when the dude, you should have felt it more. And then when he dropped Jada Pinkett off, and then she like, "I'm sorry, Sherman." He like, "Oh, it's all right, Miss Purdy." And then he turned around, got the newspaper on his head. He just dropped it. I felt so. Every time it feels terrible. Like the faces Eddie was making, like when they start drowning it out, and he just.
No, there's a lot of other movies that are way sadder than that. I'm sorry.
Not for me.
You don't see when Ricky died when he got hit with that shotgun 80 miles away?
I love that movie. It didn't make me. I was like, man, that's part of the hood.
Hey, like what he kind of deserved it.
Why do you split? Why are you taking a piss in there? Come on, man. Come on, Ricky.
How's he gonna play?
Every time he tell me that, I laugh. That should be so funny.
Watch it again. Just watch that. It's the saddest shit.
Well, I know that scene because I was fat and I
felt his pain. I was fat. I get it.
But then at the same time, I was like, kind of fat.
What's funny, I'm not very emotional, but I'm very empathetic. I get that from my mom, so I just felt it for him. And I used to like fight bullies in elementary and stuff. I didn't like bullies.
Yeah,
like I didn't like it.
I
don't like people.
I cried this morning.
Why?
I was on a walk and I had so much gratitude.
But you a bitch, man. I'm sorry.
I started crying. I was listening to church music. I was like, why am I crying?
No. I picked the pedal off the floor. He was like, this is God's creation. Rubbed the pedal between his fingers and smelled it. Oh my God.
Since he went there, I got to flip it a little bit. Like, we've been in a pocket this month. Like, the energy, my frequency has never been this high. And it started with our friend gave us this prayer affirmation. It's 4 minutes you do in the morning. He says, him and his brother been doing it. You do it every day. He said when they started doing it, his brother won a Grammy. His other business took off. I was like, let me.
Hey, give me some of that.
Like, give it to me. I'm all for stuff like that. Kid you not. After I do it, the next day, booked a show, booked another writing gig. I was like, so I kept doing it. More things kept popping up. I'm like, all right, hold on. But it gets you in this space. You do it first thing in the morning. You're just so grateful and you putting this energy out and it just works. And then like, I'll be listening to other affirmation music. I listen to high frequency music in the morning. I always like to set my tone because you like your first 5 minutes dictates your whole day for the most part. So I got a whole morning routine because a lot of times I feel like it's a choice. Like sometimes you can wake up in a bad mood, but I can switch that. If not, you're just gonna be in a bad mood all day, and I don't like being like that. So I need,
even as far as just making your bed. Like, you just gotta
first accomplishment of the day, make my bed.
Dude, personal responsibility is something that a lot of people don't like to hear. It actually makes them angry.
Oh yeah,
when you go, hey, you know, I'm not talking about very specific negative. I'm talking about stuff like that, like your mood. It was like, well, you have an ability to change it. Well, fuck you. I don't. It's like, but if you're not taking responsibility for how you feel, your whole life is going to be fucked.
Yeah.
I always tell people this too. It's like, you know, life is always about tripping. Like you're tripping constantly. Yep. We're all unbalanced human beings, and we're just trying to stand up all the fucking time. If you're not ready to take on what that is, then life is going to be tough because you expect it to be nice to you all the time. It's not supposed to be that way. Life is constantly beating you down.
It's about how you react. Something's gonna happen just about how you react.
I mean, I'm definitely not just walking outside and crying, bro. But if I was your neighbor with the blinds, I'd be like, yo, the fuck is wrong with this guy?
It was one singular tear. I was like, oh shit, oh my bad.
You had the glory tear. His hand on the fence. I was like,
the glory tear. Better have the Viola Davis snot too.
But I'm very particular about my energy, who I let around me, who I like to be around, like my frequency. I just noticed, like, I think certain blessings come on a certain frequency. And when I started doing the affirmation and getting deep in it in my morning routine, start getting blessed. And like the energy that's been crazy, the people we've met, and a lot of people we go around, they be like, man, I like you guys' energy. I'm like, thank you. I mean, just.
But that's why we, you know, that's why we friends with you for so long.
I mean, that's the crazy. I think a lot of people always wonder this too when they talk about this podcast. Like, I've always talked about, I keep friends for a very long time, a very long time. I have the same friends since elementary school, you know, and when people see a lot of other people like in videos or whatever, I'm like, well, those are acquaintances. These are friends. They're different. You know what I mean? And so like for you guys too, like you guys been in a group for how many fucking years? It's kind of nuts. And people always ask us too. They go, how do you keep lasting friendships? What was your guys' answer to that?
Well, it was a foundation before it was a business. So we came all together organically. And then the way we came together, it almost seems like it was meant to be. Like I was telling you how I met him first day of school, and he was my neighbor. Then across from his house, dorm, Emmanuel's room was right there. So it was like, this is like a 10-story building. How we all on the same floor, neighbors,
went together,
and then we just met up and linked. So it felt like it was more meant to be. And Mike, best friend 6th grade, Chaz, my brother. So it was like this organic mesh. It wasn't like we were put together like day 26. We had to go get cheesecake. We were friends before we started a business. So like the end of the day it's a friendship that business derived.
But I think it's an authenticity thing too. Like you're only gonna be around people who you can genuinely feel like. You'll feel when you're around somebody, you're like, I'm not gonna get along with them. Like you just know it. Like you're like,
I'm my type of person.
Not gonna hang with them. But so when you find people who are just genuine and authentic, you're like, okay, I can rock with that. You know what I'm saying?
That relationship development part is hard for a lot of people. And I sometimes I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, I talk about this concept of when people move to big metropolitan cities, I always say like people, even when they're friendship, they fuck on the first date. They see a glimpse of what they like in a human being and they go, that's my boy. We best friends. It's like, you don't even know this motherfucker. And then they get either backstabbed, something happens that I can't believe they did. How? You didn't know them. There's no foundation. You guys didn't go through fucking dirt and grime together. You have not seen this person's true character. That happened to me once in my life and I never let it happen again. And that was my fault. I had to take responsibility for that. Because I thought he was a good person because this person was likable. But likable does not make you a good person. It just makes you somebody.
An entertainer.
Yeah, an entertainer.
This means you're an extrovert. Exactly. Or you got charisma.
So like people like even this guy too, like he owed me a project and we were friends for a couple of years. I helped him out a lot. And I was like, oh, like if we do a paid project, like he's going to get it done in time. Fucking ignored my calls for like days. Right. And he didn't know. I had a short temper at the time because I was super nice, but he owed me money. Right? Oh yeah. And when you broke, money is everything.
Oh yeah.
Everything. And so literally I just called him. I was like, bro, I know where you live. If you don't show up at my house in an hour, I'm going to fuck you up. That's it. And then he just texted me back and he goes, I'll be there. And I was like, so you were ignoring my calls.
Why I got to take all that?
Why I got to do all? Why I got to come out of character for you to give me what I'm
exactly. So he comes through and I'm like, fucking live it, you know? And then I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is your problem? He goes, I had this other project. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I gave you money. Like, you owe me the project.
My thing is just communicate, bro.
Or say something.
Just say something.
Anything. You don't just fucking bounce.
Yeah.
He was a ladder climber. So he sees something more opportune. He'll drop anybody and everybody, whether it's friend, family, mother, father, it doesn't
matter. Yeah.
It's for him. And that's who he is. And
we
met up not too long ago. I haven't seen him in years. He comes up to me, goes, hey man, it's been like, we were at this function, and he was at a function that his fiance was doing well at. So he's tagging onto his fiance's success now. So whatever, he's still doing this thing. He comes up, he goes, hey bro, I just want to say, like, I'm a different man. I want to apologize, and I just hope we could be friends again. And I was like, hey, thanks for the apology, but we're not friends.
No.
And what I told you last time was to never talk to me. So you need to move. And that's what it is, because you're still the same person. You just feel bad. Like, thing about apologies too that I really believe that people don't understand is, like, when you give somebody an apology, you do it because you feel like you did wrong, but it's still up to the person to forgive you or not.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I don't think about you. You know, I have a choice not to think about you, but you're not coming into my circle, because that's what he's asking now.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we could be friends. Let's have lunch again.
No,
now you're trying to be in my circle.
No.
I'm not breaking bread with you.
You stay outside.
Exactly.
And you've seen how people apologize in your household when you see your brothers on the knees, so you know a real apology.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't see you bleeding from your calves.
Yeah.
Is you bleeding, bro?
Yeah, you didn't apologize.
Yeah, you better rip out your eyelashes or something and put it down on my
I got
kneecap.
sacrifice out here.
Yeah, where's my goat? I don't see no
like
goat.
put your finger on the plate and put it up. Hand it to you.
I want to see that shit.
Oh yeah.
But hey, man, that wraps up this podcast. That shit was an hour and 40 minutes.
Solid.
So much shit to talk about. But where can they find you guys?
Oh man. All right, let's do the rundown. All right, first and foremost, at Dormtainment, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Find our sunglasses business at The Shady Side Up and ShadySideUp.com. Tune into Comedy Trap House, where
And we were gonna bring you some. I don't never see you wearing shades.
Yeah,
I don't think he's the shades guy.
Yeah.
so.
I got these tiny ass eyes, bro. I just went real hard and I'm good.
So I was like,
Comedy Trap House podcast. For our Patreon is patreon.com/boss talk. And check us out on there. And then my Instagram is at I roam a lot. And
Cam from DT.
that's pretty much it.
Cool. Every Thursday and Sundays. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.